From premiere day to closing night, no movie shall escape our sight. For when the films are shining bright, beware of our projector's light.
He's right. It was corny.
Welcome everybody to what was the name we were going with for this?
Well, last time it was the superhero preview,
right? It was
something like that. So I don't know. I don't know if we have a set title because I only thought we were doing Marvel stuff. So I was just calling it the Phase 3 podcast.
It's not just sadly that. I know you just want it to be Phase 3,
very
but
sadly.
I think you had said you wanted to call it Everything Spandex or something like
that.
Oh,
yeah. I did say that. Everything Spandex. In like big bold letters, boom, boom, boom.
we can run with that for now until either we think of something better or until the internet makes fun of us for it.
That's the point, dude.
So I, once again, am the projectionist. Across from me is my buddy Paul.
What's up, guys?
A.K.A. the Superhuman Aficionado. So, of course, he's going to be here.
Human.
Superhuman.
I'm a human. The fuck is that? I don't know. I have a tail.
You mean inhuman.
We're getting there.
We'll get there. And also in the room tonight, we have, returning from the original Super Preview podcast.
Rita, come here.
Come here, bud. We have...
he found a door somewhere.
His sidekick in crime, I guess you could say, Appa.
Yeah. Appa was here for the last podcast.
Yep.
He conveniently made enough noise each of the 3 hours that we added him, or that Mike was nice enough to add a picture of him when he did.
Yep.
So right now he has discovered a random door.
And is crying next to it.
He doesn't need to go anywhere. He's just like, Daddy, look, a door. I want to be on the other side.
All right. So we're going to hop right into it, guys, because as I mentioned, there is a lot of superhero films and superhero content coming out as far as cinema over the next 5 or 6 years.
And I have talked to Mike's girlfriend, and he is not good at foreplay anyway. So we're going to get right to the deed.
What?
It's girl talk, bro.
Okay. So what we're going to do real quick is, before we actually get into the lists, I divided them so far, and if you don't mind, we'll start off with DC. We'll go through all of them, and then go through everything Marvel. Now, there's a reason for that. The last time we did this, if you recall... Is it
because you don't want me to leave angry?
Yes.
The last thing we discuss is DC. Paul's going to hate the world.
Right. But last time we started off with Marvel and ended with DC. So I figured this time around we'll start off with DC and end with Marvel.
Because you have this like delusion that I want to be fair?
Yes.
All right.
And also because I know that if we end with DC, you're going to lose complete interest and just say fuck the rest of the podcast.
See, now that makes sense. I'm like, Mike, I got to go to the bathroom. Appa, get your harness on.
Yeah. So I'm going to go to the bathroom for an hour and a half.
You text me, Paul, where'd your car go? Oh my God, my car was stolen. I'm still pooping. I swear. Paul, I'm in the bathroom. Well, that's disgusting. I'm clearly in here.
So let's go through this list. So what we're going to run through is basically every movie that's been mostly confirmed. I think all of these right now we can say are confirmed.
Yeah.
We can't say anything as far as directors, casts right now, or screenwriters, but we can easily say that everything on this list has been confirmed by either Marvel or DC, right?
Right. Yeah, not all of them have directors and everything. They just, at least I know for Marvel, not everything has directors and everything just yet.
Just announced.
Yeah.
That they're planning it. So, starting with 2015, we have, of course, Avengers: Age of Ultron.
Word.
Followed by Ant-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Followed by, 20th Century Fox's The Fantastic Four.
Okay.
Followed by 2016, which will start off with Deadpool.
Word.
Followed that March by Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice.
Okay.
Followed by Captain America: Civil War.
Yeah.
Followed by X-Men: Apocalypse.
So many seizures.
Followed that August by Suicide Squad.
Okay.
Followed that November by Doctor Strange.
Mm-hmm.
So, also that November will be Sony's Sinister Six.
Mm-hmm.
And finishing off 2016 will be Sandman.
DC's Vertigo Sandman.
Right.
Okay.
And we will get into that. That one is, strangely enough, the least we know about yet, but we will get into that. In 2017, starting off, we have what's called right now an Untitled Wolverine sequel. We don't know what it's called yet, but there is a confirmed Wolverine movie coming out 2017.
Yeah, I know. I saw a picture of him working out the other day.
No.
We were like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm still here. Followed by Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Followed by Wonder Woman.
Okay.
Followed by Fantastic Four 2.
Yeah, we'll see.
Followed by Thor Ragnarok. Followed by Black Panther.
Mm-hmm.
And then followed by Justice League Part 1. And that finishes up 2017. 2018, we start off with The Flash.
Yeah.
Followed by Avengers Infinity War Part 1. Which is then followed by Captain Marvel. Which is then followed by an untitled Marvel film, which is going to be released by Fox, which we'll get into in a little bit. Which is then followed by Aquaman. And then followed that November by Inhumans. Now, also, at some point in that year, in 2018, we'll be getting The Amazing Spider-Man 3. It hasn't been announced when in 2018, but we'll be getting it that year.
Okay.
2019, we'll start off with Shazam, followed by Avengers Infinity War Part 2, followed by Justice League Part 2, followed by Cyborg in 2020, and then finally Green Lantern reboot in 2020. So that's our list. And total, I think that's 28, 29 superhero films in the next, 5 or 6 years. Wow.
Everything's spandex, bro.
Wow.
It's like Eddie Murphy, where he's just like spandex, all spandex.
Where's the spandex section? Oh, here it is.
Get him like jazzercising in the mirror with the lady giving him a weird look. What the fuck is this guy doing? Black people are cray.
Wow.
All right.
So
we have quite the list.
Before we get into the separating DC and Marvel, let's just stay right now. As far as that list, what are you looking forward to the most? Give me 2 or 3 you are just saying, wow, this is something that is going to make me shit my pants in anticipation.
Well, I did have Taco Bell. So. Well, first off, somewhere in there's an untitled Batman movie.
That hasn't been confirmed.
Oh, it's not confirmed yet?
It's not confirmed yet.
Okay.
DC has not confirmed it. It's rumored, but it wasn't released on their slate in their DC Cinematic Universe.
Okay.
So we don't know about that one just yet.
I would say presently, I'm super excited, obviously, about the Age of Ultron.
Right.
But that aside, because that's the next thing coming up, I'm really excited about Thor 3.
Mm-hmm.
Ragnarok is a big thing in the Nordic mythologies, which we'll get into later.
Yeah.
And some of the potential characters they could add to that are very exciting.
Yeah.
Beyond that, Inhumans are some of my favorite characters.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm super excited about that. And the fact that even though Marvel Studios keeps saying they're not, they're kind of using the Inhumans as a replacement for Marvels at the moment. So I'll make you sit in the car.
Actually, did I mention Inhumans when I said the list?
Yes.
I did. Okay,
Yes.
I'm sorry. I thought I forgot Inhumans for 1 second. I'm sorry.
And then obviously the Infinity War.
Right.
I'm really excited for.
I would say for everything on this list, yeah, Infinity War is at the top.
Yeah.
Right behind that, I'm really anticipating it, but also kind of dreading it, is, of course, Justice League. I mean, it can go wrong in so many ways, but if done right, it has the potential to just, blow my mind.
It does. And I give DC a really hard time, and I don't like DC in comparison to Marvel.
Right.
But I watch all the DC animated stuff.
Right.
DC, there's a lot of stuff that DC does really well.
Mm-hmm.
My biggest gripe with DC is Superman. He's just an overpowered character.
Right, I know.
That I just don't enjoy the writing for him very often. If they do Justice League right, I would love it.
Right.
I mean, Man of Steel blew me away. I loved Man of Steel.
Unfortunately, you're one of the few people who liked Man of Steel.
I made the argument that Man of Steel was made for Marvel fans. Because Marvel fans were like, this movie's fucking awesome. And DC fans were like, this movie sucked. And we were like, what are you talking about? No, look, they did some pseudoscience shit and explained it. And then he was all gruff and angry. And they were like, but he wasn't a Boy Scout. He wasn't Superman. Bitch, that movie wasn't called Superman. Not a single time in that movie did they call him Superman.
This is true. I mean, we won't get into that. That is a debate for another time.
No, I agree. But
if Karen were here, she'd be fighting you. But
really? She didn't like it?
She did not like it.
She's dumb as shit.
She actually hated it more than me.
You didn't like it?
Well, no. I'm still on the fence about it.
I was so good.
There were some moments I really liked. There were some moments I really hate.
Yo, I was really mad that he took out that satellite. I was like, yo, dude, Bruce is going to be super pissed at you.
I thought that was a LexCorp satellite.
No, it was a Wayne Corp satellite. It was LexCorp truck.
Oh, right. Okay. All right, fair enough.
Yeah. No, I was really, really impressed with that movie. It didn't have... I mean, I don't want to get too far off topic, but
Right.
It didn't have all of the cliche, oh, I don't want to do wrong, let me sulk for a while. Oh, I don't know what to do because I can't... No, fuck that noise.
Right.
You're a superhuman.
Like we get in every Spider-Man film.
Right. But one of the things that I like about Batman isn't just that he doesn't have powers or he has gadgets or he's cool and he can figure a way out of anything. It's that, I mean, though he doesn't kill intentionally, he's willing to do what needs to be done to get done what needs to get done.
Right.
And one of my favorite quotes that I recently read, and then we can get back to everything else, it was a quote from Batman. I don't know who he's talking to or where this came from. I just saw it online. And he says, Clark could crush me like a bug. And all I have is a stone to stop him. But I know that he won't.
Yeah.
And they said, well, why do you know that? Like, why do you trust that? And he said, because deep down, Clark is a good man.
Right.
And deep down, I am not. And I was like... Shit.
That's pretty good.
Like my chest sunk. I was like, oh my God, Bruce. You might be Owlman. It was
Nice.
just like that's what I like. That's what I like from my heroes. Give me a hero who's willing to do what needs to get done. And for the most part, Marvel does that. Every now and again we get a whiner.
I don't mean to go off point, but your dog is currently attacking me. Abba!
You're attacking him back. Face.
I know. I love you too, buddy, but we have to get back on point.
Hey, yip. Hey, manners. Thank you.
Good boy. So if you all heard panting in the middle of that, it's because he was basically right next to the mic. I apologize.
He wanted to play.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. We'll play later, bud. I'm sorry. That being said, we're going to start off with the DC list.
All right.
Sorry. So, starting off...
Why don't we just go through movie to movie? So that way we don't have to split them.
Well, I want to just stay with the continuity as far as
right.
just going through and just saying, how they're going to be following a certain progression, and maybe we can figure out from that, what they plan to do with this series.
That's fair.
So, let's start off with the DC list, starting off with the movie that comes out 2 years from now, which is Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice.
Codenamed Batfleck.
Yeah, Batfleck. So, we already know a good amount about this movie. Of course, we know that Zack Snyder is directing, with Christopher Nolan as an executive producer. Now, what you may not know, and what has actually made me a little more happier, a little more relieved about this upcoming movie...
Is that Ben Affleck was fired?
No, Ben Affleck was not fired.
Man.
And we need to talk about that, because I know you do not like Ben Affleck, but Kim and I recently saw Gone Girl, and that was a fantastic movie.
Man, he wasn't Batman in Gone Girl.
But I'm just saying, he wasn't Batman in Argo. He wasn't Batman in The Town. And
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so you admit that he's a good actor.
I didn't see those movies.
What the fuck?
I'm not going to go see a Ben Affleck movie. That's like telling me you don't know Nicolas Cage is a bad actor because you don't watch his movies.
Wow. I don't know how to answer that. Look.
I needed to defend my point.
Okay, look. Argo won Best Picture.
Okay, when he directs the movie that he stars in, of course he's going to win because he's going to direct it around his shitty acting.
My God. If it was shitty acting, it would not have won Best Picture.
It won Best Picture for his directorship. Directorial directoring.
Directorial directoring.
Yes.
Okay, so if he is a good director, don't you think that it's even good that he's attached to this movie?
He's not directing this movie.
But don't you think he can bring that to the table? Like, he can help Nolan. He can help Snyder. He is a fantastic director now.
Nolan knows what he's doing.
I'm not saying he doesn't.
And Snyder did Sucker Punch.
And Sucker Punch sucked.
I actually liked Sucker Punch.
I know you did, and we'll fight about that later. But, okay, we're getting off point.
This isn't I Digress.
So, the screenplay was originally going to be penned by David Goyer. Now, do you know who David Goyer is?
Nope.
All right.
But I don't like him either.
Well, he has been attached to a lot of superhero films in the past.
Okay.
Most famously, he was attached to the original Nolan Batman trilogy.
Okay.
All right. And those were good. I know you liked the first two. You weren't a fan of the third, but overall, you'd say they were good, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He's also done some bad superhero films.
Did he do Elektra?
I don't think he did Elektra.
All right.
But I do know that he did the Blade trilogy.
Blade trilogy was baller, dude.
The first one was good. The second one, I'm iffy about. And the third one, I was not a fan of.
The third one was the best one.
Because you saw Ryan Reynolds shirtless?
Not the point. That wasn't the only
every girl I've spoken to has forgiven Blade Trinity because it had Ryan Reynolds shirtless.
I legit thought that was a good movie. I wasn't going to see it because Jessica Biel was in it, and I thought she was going to trash that movie, and she was fucking awesome. Snipes wasn't that great. I was kind of done with him. But I thought they did a really decent job with the things that they did in that movie. I didn't like that in the end, spoilers, that they ended the vampire race, and then in the fucking post-credits thing, it was the new werewolf-vampire hybrid that was going to lead into the Night Stalkers movie that never happened.
Right. Well, anyway,
Tangent.
We digress. So he did that trilogy. I believe he also did Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance.
Oh, that's awful.
Right.
That's worse than Elektra.
I wouldn't say it's worse than Elektra.
Again, I didn't see it.
But no, it was pretty bad. So again, he's back and forth on a lot. Now, I'm missing a lot. He's done a lot more work than just those. But he's very hit and miss. Now, here's the thing. He was attached to this, but it turns out he had to back out due to other constraints, due to other films that he's working on.
Because he's too busy fucking up other stuff?
Apparently.
Okay.
But the writer they brought in is Chris Terrio. Now, he was the screenwriter for Argo, which I know you haven't seen, but he's a very good screenwriter.
So they called him and they were like, yo, look, so Ben kind of sucks. And
oh my God.
We already told the internet and we're trying to defend this shit. But
really?
He was good in your movie. Can you write some shit that this motherfucker can act to? Because we don't know what the fuck's going on with this guy. Like, I'm really about to go get Matt Damon, like, have him smack his bitch.
You do realize that Argo won Best Original Screenplay, or Best Adapted Screenplay, whatever it was. I know you don't care.
And yes, I saw that I'm gay. I watch award shows.
Okay, but what I'm saying is this guy is obviously a very good screenwriter.
Okay, yes, I was giving him props.
But
I was tearing down Affleck, not him.
But you're saying that he was only good because he made Affleck look good.
No, I was saying... Well, I'm saying that's a saving grace for him.
Oh, my God.
They called him because...
Can't Affleck just be good?
That's not up to me.
Oh, for the love of God.
That's up to Affleck.
All right. So anyway, he's been brought on to basically rework the screenplay.
Look, you know what? When Affleck goes to play gay cowboy and then plays a homicidal clown, we'll talk. Successfully plays a homicidal clown. I should have said successfully plays a gay cowboy, but he could do that with Matt Damon.
We will get to the homicidal clown in a minute. Let's get back on this.
All right.
So, we have him coming in to write the screenplay. Now, of course, on the cast, most of which has been announced already, we have Henry Cavill returning, Ben Affleck coming in as Batman, Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, which is still kind of weird casting. Not everyone has gotten over that as of yet. Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. We have Amy Adams returning. We have Jeremy Irons coming in as Alfred. We have, Lawrence Fishburne returning. We have Diane Lane as Martha Kent. She'll apparently. I've been told she's going to be in there, but I doubt she's going to be in there for too long.
We have Khal Drogo as Aquaman.
No, I'm getting to that. Don't beat me to the punch yet.
Uh-huh.
So, also in here we have Jenna Malone and Holly Hunter in unconfirmed roles. Now,
Holly Hunter,
yeah.
I know that name.
Now we were discussing this just last week.
Mm-hmm.
We think Jenna Malone could be Robin. We don't know. But they are talking about doing a female Robin. And Karen wants Jenna Malone to be Robin. So maybe that's the route they're going with her. We don't know just yet.
Well, in The Dark Knight Rises, the Rise of the Dark Knight, rather.
You mean Dark Knight Returns?
Whatever. In The Dark Knight Returns, did he get you?
No, it's for something else.
Okay.
I said old scab.
In The Dark Knight Returns, the Robin is a female. A little redhead girl. So, and Jenna Malone's a decent actress.
Oh, no, she is. I've liked her in everything she's been in. And I'm really enjoying her in the Hunger Games series. I thought she was great in the original Donnie Darko. Everything she's been in, I've really enjoyed her.
Oh yeah, dude, that's totally her. Oh my god, everybody's in that movie.
Yeah. You go back and watch it, it's like, holy crap, this is like a who's cast, you know?
No, it really fucking is.
I know. But, so they're in unconfirmed roles. They have been cast, but they're not announcing what yet.
Okay.
Now, again, like I had mentioned, there are some people who are going to be getting their own standalone films who are going to be in this. Mm-hmm. We have Jason Momoa,
right,
who is Khal Drogo, who is going to be playing Aquaman.
Yay!
We also have
black-haired Aquaman.
We also have Urza Miller playing Barry Allen.
Is he in this?
We don't know just yet. They're saying he might be a cameo by him, but we don't know. We also have who else?
The black guy.
Oh yeah, Ray Fisher. Now Ray Fisher will be playing Cyborg. Now we don't really know too much about Ray Fisher. Apparently he's only been doing stage plays and stuff on Broadway. He hasn't been in a feature-length film yet, I believe. I believe this is his debut. Okay. So look forward to seeing him. Mm-hmm. Hopefully he'll do well. And that's all we really have so far for this. Now, that being said, they are putting a lot of star power into this movie, into this series. And it's, of course, all leading up to what eventually will be Justice League. Mm-hmm.
My theory was that they were going to have this this Return of the Dark Knight movie, mm-hmm. and then do a post-credit scene with Ray Fisher and
Jason Momoa,
where they're coming together,
mm-hmm.
and then fucking Nolan had to make his smart-ass little comment about his post-credits feelings. So I don't know what they're gonna do yet.
Yeah, they may have that. It might just be right before the credits. That might be like the very final scene.
A friend of mine made a point that they could do some stuff like Flashpoint, where maybe there's like a separate war going on with other heroes.
Yeah.
And that afterwards, Clark and Bruce are like, "Oh, let's bitch hug and go find other superpowered peoples."
I like that description. Just bitch hug.
So let's bitch hug because Paul hates Superman and Ben Affleck.
Oh God.
So
this is setting up to just be like your end all be all fuck you film. So I mean, again, they have a lot going for this film as far as cast.
Yeah.
It's all a matter of right now the execution. Mm-hmm. I don't hate the original screenwriter, David Goyer. I don't hate him. I will say I do like the screenwriter they have now over him.
Okay.
He hasn't had a whole lot of work, but again, he just recently won Best Screenwriter. Or Best Screenplay, I should say. Mm-hmm. So, I'm good to go with this. I think it has everything going for it right now. On paper, it looks good. But again, communism looks good on paper, so you never really know what's going to end up happening. So...
I like that comparison. Batman, Superman, communism. It's sound.
Yeah, Red Sun somewhere. Yeah. So, after that, the next DC film we're going to be getting is Suicide Squad. Now, this was only announced about 2 or 3 weeks ago that this film will be happening, but there's already a lot of news coming out on this.
A lot of news, a lot of casting news coming out on this.
Now, directing will be getting David Ayer.
Okay.
As far as cast, we have Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. Do you know who that is?
No.
Neither do I. As soon as they announced her, I was like, okay, who is she? I had no idea who she was. The only thing I know that she's been in was Wolf of Wall Street, which I did not see, sadly. But I'm
that was a Leo movie, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I wanted to see that.
Him and oh god,
yeah, the fat guy that was skinny and then fat again.
Jonah Hill.
God,
why couldn't I remember his name? Jonah Hill. So yeah, I know she was in Wolf of Wall Street, but again, I did not see that, so I can't really judge. Now, a lot of rumors are emerging about this. The first big one is that Jared Leto is rumored for the Joker.
Oh yeah, I did hear that. I'd be super thrilled.
That would be cool. Again,
he's so fucking
everyone
good.
Was jumping on it at first, like, oh my god, it's confirmed. It is not confirmed yet. It is still a big rumor.
I was really excited when he was rumored to be Doctor Strange.
Right, and I thought I would have liked. This, I would still like. I think he could pull off a pretty good Joker.
Yo, dude, he was a fucking AIDS-infected drag queen and blew that shit away.
You mean Dallas Buyers Club?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's already super creepy.
I mean, he has, like, just, yeah, the creepy, like, lanky look that he could pull off well for, like, the Joker. So, you know what? Yeah, I'm good for that.
You know what, though? Actually, I don't want this to happen.
Why?
No, I don't want this because I like him.
The Joker curse.
Yeah, I don't want anything to happen to him.
You know what? Just take care of him. You know, going into this movie, be aware that there is a curse with this character,
Like,
and just
clearly
take
a curse.
special care of Jared Leto.
Because, fucking Nicholson, what was it? When Heath Ledger went to Jack Nicholson and asked him for advice, he said, don't do it.
Right. And then when Heath Ledger passed away, when they first told Jack Nicholson about it, he said, I warned him.
Mm-hmm. Like, it's a rough role.
It is.
It messes with your head.
But not only that, but the role is cursed.
It's cursed. And part of the curse is that it gets to you. Like,
right.
It's like The Shining.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Jack Nicholson's character in The Shining. Like, it drives you crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking Heath Ledger had a notebook. They found a notebook in his hotel room that was journals written by the Joker of things that the Joker would find funny. And it was just the most awful things that you could think of that he would use to get into character. Damn. And it was just...
Is it wrong that I kind of want to see these?
I want to read that so bad, but I really feel like it would destroy somebody to read that.
See, I'm already a cynical asshole, so I feel like, maybe that's a shield for me. It'd probably break the shield, but it would give me a little bit of protection at first.
I think it would destroy us.
But anyway, so he is rumored for the Joker. Mm-hmm. Also rumored is Jai Courtney for Deadshot.
I did see that.
Right. That would be intriguing casting.
I'm not sure who that is, though.
But yeah, I remember him now. I remember him from Divergent now. Him as Deadshot. Could work.
I'm down with that.
Yeah, I think he'll be all right.
I didn't see Divergent, and I really tore it down because I was like, yo, that shit's Twilight in the future. And then Steve saw it, he was like, that's kind of awesome. And I was like, shut up, you.
Classically with Suicide Squad, you have other people, like kind of weird ones. You have Black Manta, you have Captain Boomerang, Joker's daughter, all kind of, weird hodgepodge people you don't really expect to be in there.
Right.
So
because it's all like death row supervillains that they just put explosives in their
I also think
Captain
Cold might be in there sometimes. I could be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Light.
Really?
Yeah, I think.
Dr. Light's baller.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know all the Suicide Squad, but
I don't think there is an all.
No. Well, it's
just Arkham.
Right. Well, it's Arkham for people who want to try and get back out into the world. I tried to explain Suicide Squad to one of my coworkers, and you'll probably punch me for this, but I called it the Guardians of the Galaxy of the DC Universe. Hodgepodge.
See, he says that, and then he's like, "You're gonna hurt me," but then he does it anyway.
So you're gonna hurt me now,
ladies and gentlemen. So we're clear.
The only reason I said that is because it's a group of people who would classically probably be villains in the universe coming together to try and make some good.
Okay. More specifically, it is MCU Guardians of the Galaxy of the DC universe.
Right.
Because the origins for those characters are vastly different in the comics.
This is true.
I'll give you that.
Okay.
But I didn't realize that it was them trying to get back into the world. I always thought it was something needs to get done. It's Black Label stuff. We're not calling the superheroes, so we need people that can do it, and then if you turn on us, we'll detonate you.
That's part of it. The other part is it's kind of like a probation program for villains in the DC universe. They tell them, look, you can either rot in Arkham or Blackgate, or you can serve on this team for 2 or 3 years, and we're going to send you on missions that will probably kill you. But if you survive, after 3 years, we'll let you back into society. That's really what it is. And that's how a lot of times DC explains why some villain is out and about in the universe again. They were in the Suicide Squad and got released. Yeah. So that's really what the Suicide Squad is. It's just sending them out on these missions that more likely they will die. And if they die, oh well, you died. If you survive, okay, we're going to send you on another mission. And if you survive enough of them, we'll release you.
Who's a gamer? Yeah,
so it's them proving that they actually want to do this. Now, it's really just them trying to survive or, just live in Arkham or Blackgate. But, they'd probably want to go out and do this and actually do stuff, So that's what Suicide Squad is. I would really love to see this. Mm-hmm. And it's not going to be taken seriously. Again, like Guardians of the Galaxy. What's that?
But it could be.
It could be.
If they did this movie right, it could be like the darkest of movies. and it could be really, really great. Like, I'm thinking this
But
movie...
I still think it has to be a level of fun because you have so many villains in there.
Right, but I'm thinking... I'm not thinking levels of Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm thinking levels of Ocean's 11 with murder.
That... You know what? Yeah, you've got me on that. Okay, yeah. If it's that kind of group where it's that kind of dynamic where... It's not like they all hate each other, but there's like a level of mutual respect for who they are.
And they probably would.
Right. And then just going
compare notes throughout.
Right,
like, I did this. And almost like Mr. and Mrs. Smith, where when they were comparing notes, like, oh, you got that one, I wanted that one.
Yeah.
Like, and have it like that. That's what I see this movie being. I see it being this, like, not so super serious, like this dark comedy, heist movie with murder, with assassins.
Okay. And again, I'm for that.
Mm-hmm. That sounds amazing.
Yeah. So, I'm glad you pitched that because that sounds really cool.
Yeah.
So after that, I'd actually forgotten about this one at first because it wasn't listed on their DC like listing as far as what they're going to release until 2020. But this one has been confirmed, and it is Sandman, and it's confirmed for December 2016.
There's been a lot of rumor about this for a while,
right? And they talked about it 2 years ago, and it's been in the works since then, but it was never really confirmed. It has been confirmed. There's just no real work being done on it just yet. Mm-hmm. Now, I will say this, and this is all I can really find on it. And again, this is confirmed. David Goyer, the same screenwriter I told you about earlier, is producing this alongside Neil Gaiman, who was the original writer of Sandman, as well as Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
I did know that.
Now, again, we don't know if he's going to be in the film at all. All we know is that he's
attached.
He's co-producing. So they're working on this. Now, again, I haven't read all the way through Sandman. The stuff I've read, I've really liked.
Yeah.
And it's definitely one of the more unique titles in Vertigo and DC.
Well, the coolest thing about having this as a movie isn't even just having this as a movie, but Neil Gaiman is the type of writer that he's not going to let you fuck up his story.
Right.
So having him on this, fans of the story can rest assured that this isn't going to be destroyed for the sake of money.
Exactly.
And
I was really happy when I saw that he was attached.
Yeah. I mean, I could really see this. I might get a lot of backlash for this, but almost like that feel from the original Crow, that dark, dank, underbelly.
I could be wrong, but I think David Goyer worked on Crow.
The original one?
I think so. I
could
be wrong. I could be wrong, but I think he was attached to that.
I haven't seen any of the other ones, but the original one, I really liked, and I only saw it probably.
You only have to watch the first one. None of the others are that good.
Oh, really? I finished it. I probably only saw it 3 or 4 years ago, and I finished it, and I said, "This is Heath Ledger's Joker. This is where he got the character." And I mean, he put his own twist on it, but it was dark, and that's what this movie would need.
And I'd be for that kind of, I think the Crow would be a little too far on that design, but if it's, cause I'm looking back to the artistry from Sandman, the way that those comics felt, and I can see where you're going with the Crow. I think that'd be going a little too far on this, but it would be close. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you could start with the Crow as like a base, but the Sandman comics, they had that dark feel, but there was still that fantasy aspect.
Oh yeah.
That very fantastical world beyond our own. It
became much more fantasy towards the later part of the comics.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, it was much more just dark, almost horror at times, which I loved. And then later on, when we start diving into more of the mythos, it became much more fantasy.
Yeah.
And that's fine. That's okay. I still thought it was good. Again, I never finished the series, but from what I did read, it was very good. So, looking forward to that.
Oh, very much like that.
That being said, if they're going to go Vertigo, I want them to do a Transmetropolitan movie, which I know you've never read, but Transmetropolitan, to me, is probably one of the best, if not the best, Vertigo comic of all time. I adore it. It is, and it's not even a superhero story.
That's the one with the guy with the glasses, right?
Yes. It's fantastic. I won't go into all the details about it now, but I want to see that movie in my lifetime. I wish that was on this list, but oh well, what are you going to do?
Write it.
So
we've done movies, let's do it.
After that, we're going to be getting Wonder Woman. Now, again, that's going to be Gal Gadot returning, but that's all we really know. We don't know a director, we don't know a screenwriter, we don't know a whole lot about this yet.
But they only now feel comfortable enough to even do it.
Right.
I mean, for years, they bounced around from writer to director, from writer to director. Joss Whedon was on it for a while.
He was.
And that's when they were doing the Justice storyline on Smallville.
Right.
They couldn't touch Bruce because Nolan had it, and they couldn't touch Wonder Woman or anything Amazon related because Whedon had it.
Right.
I'm not a Wonder Woman fan, but I'm glad that they're finally doing this movie.
Right. It deserves to be made.
I mean, she's one of their big three.
Yeah.
So they need to do her justice. And I respect that they didn't do a movie that they didn't think that they would do right.
Right. And here's the one thing I said going into Batman vs. Superman. I wish that it wasn't Batman vs. Superman, but Trinity. I wish it was Trinity. Because
cool.
I liked the Trinity storylines. They were always interesting to me. So not all of them are written well, but some of them I was like, yeah, this is what you need to be going with DC. Do more Trinity. So I kind of wish they were doing that with the next film. That's not the case, but what are you going to do? As far as this goes, I don't know who they're going to get. I don't know if they're going to get David Goyer attached again. It looks like he's doing a lot of these DC films. They're trying to keep the same screenwriter for a lot of them, but he's going to be really overworked. I don't know. I really don't know who would be a good screenwriter for something like this. But again, I'm just glad they're making it. But that's 2017, still a while off. We don't know what they're doing with that just yet.
Right.
After that, we will be getting Justice League Part 1. So, of course, like all the cast we mentioned before will probably be coming back. And Zack Snyder, again, will be directing, much to my chagrin. Me, along with several other critics I have spoken to, all were hoping that them casting Ben Affleck would mean that maybe he
called him Affleck.
Affleck, yes, Affleck. Sorry,
Bat Duck.
All of us were hoping that by casting Ben as Batman, that maybe he would be directing Justice League and not Zack Snyder. That was our dream, that he would be directing that. If he was directing Justice League, I would be so excited for it. Again, I'm still looking forward to it, but I would love to see his version of the Justice League. Not just because I don't want to see the entire cast have Boston accents. That's not it at all.
That would be funny. This is the gag movie, right?
Bruce, don't park your car in the yard.
Park my car where I want.
I'm just saying, a lot of people were hoping that. But that's not the case. We've got Zack Snyder. Some people hate him. Some people love him. I've liked some of his work. I've hated some of his work. So I'm very back and forth on this guy. But it's happening. It's finally happening. And for the longest time, people were saying, Avengers isn't happening. A lot of people are saying that. Oh, Justice League will never happen. Well, for all intents and purposes...
Well, even Warner Brothers said that Justice League wasn't going to happen in our lifetime.
Well, now it is.
Now it is.
I mean, it's still, 3-4 years off at this point? Yeah, it's 3 years off. So...
But they really say they're stepped their game up.
Right.
Like... massively had to step the game up. And this isn't just me being a Super Marvel, but Marvel started a plan and executed it so well. And nobody knew up front that that's what the idea was.
Right.
Nobody knew going into Iron Man that we were going to go and start this Avengers thing.
Right.
And then that Avengers was going to be as good as it was.
Right.
Now, I've seen it probably 20 or 40,000 times. And though it's a good movie, it could have been a lot better.
Oh, I know.
And I feel like...
But as that film, just going in and just saying, okay, this happened, and just, to use a pun, just to marvel at it.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It was very well done. And, I mean, if DC can take notes from where the first Avengers kind of fell off, they can make a great movie.
Yeah.
I don't know that they'll be smart enough to take any notes.
No.
But they seriously had to start stepping up their game.
Right, they did. Otherwise, they were going to lose this battle.
Yeah, and, and really, they still might.
Oh, and you can make a case for that. We'll get to that in the end with the questions. We'll get to that.
I think my major worry with DC, just as someone who loves superheroes to begin with, I want to see these movies do well. I want to see DC movies do well because I want to go and see these movies still. I still want to. I will see Batman, Superman. I didn't see Superman Returns, but that would. I will see Wonder Woman. I will see each and every one of these movies in the theaters, and if they're good, I will pay for them twice because I want these movies to be made, and I want them to be made right. Like when I saw Guardians, Steve and I saw Guardians of the Galaxy in 3D twice in a week. And somebody said, "Why did you pay so much money to see these movies?" And I said, "Because I want them to be made."
Right.
Like, these are the movies that I don't want people to fucking bootleg, because these are the movies that I want them to have the money to make them right.
Right.
So I want DC to do a good job.
Right.
I'm nervous.
Right.
I am.
Well, everyone's nervous. You know, they're trying to do what Marvel's been doing, and only time will tell whether or not they're actually going to succeed at it.
And that's actually leads into my main fear, is they're not doing this because necessarily they're ready to do it.
Right.
They're doing it because they need to.
Right.
So
finishing up the DC list, there's only a few more.
Mm-hmm.
After that, in 2018, we'll be getting The Flash. Now, as I mentioned, Urza Miller is playing The Flash, Barry Allen.
Mm-hmm.
Apart from that, nothing else has been determined. There's no screenwriter, there's no director, it's just there.
So I know that you and I discussed that we weren't going to make a lot of reference to the TV universes for these things.
Right.
One of the things I did want to discuss, though, was DC's inability to connect their cinematic universe to their TV universe.
Right, I know. And one thing I have said is that up until recently, I thought they were going to have a much better chance at doing a Justice League in the TV universe than in the cinematic universe.
Which would still have been amazing.
Yeah.
See, it really upset me when they cast a new Flash, because they just started the Flash show.
Right.
And now they're just starting a Constantine show. And now there's rumors that they may do a Justice League Dark movie with Constantine.
Right.
And that they'll cast a new person for him.
Right.
And so what bothers me most about this is that CW is a Warner Brothers studio.
Right.
And Warner Brothers owns DC and does the movies.
Now, to be fair, not all of these series are on CW. Constantine is CBS. Gotham is Fox.
Yeah, but Gotham's crap.
Yeah. I haven't seen all of Gotham, but the stuff I've seen, yeah.
I saw the first 2 episodes and I hated it. But for the shows that are on the CW, The Flash and The Green Arrow, and The Flash is just, it's astounding.
I've actually not seen any of The Flash.
The writing for it is just so very impressive.
Really?
That every episode that leaves me wanting more.
I'm going to say this, a little off topic. You need to talk to Chicago John and some of his buddies about that, because they are currently calling it The Flush. As we're referring it to a toilet, because they would prefer to flush it down the toilet.
I love it.
Really?
I love it. I think that the acting is not the strongest acting I've ever seen.
Well, it's CW. You can't really ask for much more.
I mean, really, Steve Arnell, or whatever, the guy who plays the Arrow, he's kind of a flat actor too. But it's so good. It's doing everything that I wanted it to do, and it's doing everything that Arrow hasn't, which isn't anything against Arrow. Arrow has stayed pretty cleanly away from metahumans, where the Flash is focusing on it. And it's doing a really good job. And I will talk to John about it, because we've been meaning to get together again to talk about Korra.
Right.
Not another podcast, but just to talk.
Right.
Because this season of Korra is not a good finale so far.
It's not? Oh,
there's been a couple great episodes, and then there was a really, really weak fight that just was not something that you follow up season 3 with.
That's a shame.
But, you know, when you're doing these things so well, and it's all owned under the same studio,
right?
Telling this guy, hey, I cast you to play the Flash for this show, and then we cast this guy to play the Flash for the movie. This guy is learning the role.
Right.
He's learning to be this character. So put him in the fucking movie. Like, the biggest thing that you can do is, like, have that Peter Parker feel, where the Flash, who's a street-level hero, becomes that big-time hero,
right? And
he's looking at these guys that are larger than life, and he's like, shit.
Right.
I can't be cocky, but I have to be.
Right.
And then you see, bring Steve Arnell in, or Sean Arnell, or whatever Arrow's name is,
yeah,
and have him with these guys and looking at Barry and like, we don't belong here,
right? But
we have to be here. And so now they're recasting these characters for the movies, and it's like, this is the ugliest person I've ever seen in my life. Like, I don't want this Ezra what's-his-face to have any screen time at all. Just keep the mask on.
Well, anyway, we're getting off point again.
No, we were making a point.
Yeah. So anyway, we're moving on. Only a few more DC films to get through here.
I'm being very talkative for DC.
I know. I'm proud of you. Next one up, we have Aquaman, which again is Jason Momoa. Now, a lot of people were a little bit worried about this original casting. They look at Aquaman and they see this pasty, almost pale white guy who's an Atlantean, this almost demigod of a guy who, rules underwater, doesn't get much sunlight down there, and so he looks like, they've retooled Aquaman in the comics, and he's much better now. I will say that. I haven't been reading them, but from what I was reading just after and just before Blackest Night, I was liking what they were doing with Aquaman. That being said, they got Jason Momoa, and I think he's Samoan. I could be wrong.
That sounds right.
Because
The Rock is Samoan, isn't he?
Yes,
Yeah,
I think he's Polynesian. That's for sure. But I don't know much more than that. But that being said, I can see this working. It's kind of like a guy who's kind of like a Polynesian who does get a lot of sunlight and is going out and working in tropical environments and is
Unleashing the Kraken.
What? Yeah. I can see this working.
I like him. I like him as an actor.
Mm-hmm.
I was really excited for the role. Honestly, the only thing I didn't like about him being Aquaman was I had started thinking that he would make a really good Namor.
Yeah.
And that they already cast him as another fishman.
Yeah. So
can he be both?
Nah, that'd be a little too close.
And then they do a crossover movie.
That'd be like casting the same guy as from Deathstroke and then making him Deadpool in another movie. It'll be a little too close.
Ryan Reynolds couldn't be Deathstroke.
I'm just saying, people would get confused.
But I'm actually really pleased with that casting.
Yeah.
And the Aquaman that I liked best was the long hair, the beard, the spear for a hand.
Mm-hmm.
That was the Aquaman I liked. The Aquaman with an attitude.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably the Aquaman he'll play.
Probably. Yeah.
I'm nervous to see him blonde.
They might not go blonde.
And I hope that they don't. This is the one time that I'm thinking, you should probably not do that, because I usually get really nervous when the hair is lighter than the skin. But I really, that was a casting that I saw that I was proud of. I was happy with.
Yeah, that was good. After that, we'll be getting Shazam. Now, we do not know who will be playing Shazam, or in that universe, their Captain Marvel, whatever you want to call him.
Right.
But we do know who is going to be playing Black Adam, and that is
Rock.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Correct. And for a while, everyone was thinking he was going to be Shazam, because it was rumored and he got talking about Shazam, and everyone's like, oh my god, is The Rock going to be Shazam? Sure enough, he's going to be in the movie, but he's going to be Black Adam. And I gotta say, I do like that casting.
I actually do too. I don't think that he would have been a very good Shazam. I think he'll be a fucking awesome Black Adam.
Now, everyone was saying, oh, well, he was already been playing an Egyptian god. He was playing, the Scorpion King and everything like that. It's a little too close. But you know what? I don't care. He can still do this role really well.
And he's not been in Egypt for a long time, so it's not like he's calling a Ra.
Right.
No, I was actually really excited. And again, I was upset about this casting. I was pleased and upset. There were a couple roles. He was rumored at one point. There was a rumor that he might play Namor.
Mm-hmm.
Again, Namor. Which I thought, again, would have been a good casting. He's kind of douchey, so he could do that.
There was a rumor for a little bit of time that he was going to be Luke Cage.
And there was that one. And that's why I was kind of glad about this. Because he'd be so great. He's not black enough to be Luke Cage. I need my Luke Cage. I fucking want Terry Crews to be Luke Cage. I don't care.
I would love that.
I don't care how goofy he's been in other movies. He's fucking huge, and he looks exactly like Luke Cage. All black people look the same.
Wow.
But nah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, internet. I had to say it. But he looks exactly like Luke Cage. So, very off topic, I thought Terrence Howard looked a lot more like Rhodey.
Right.
Whereas Don Cheadle is a much better actor. So.
Yeah. So, but as far as this casting goes, yeah, I'm okay with it. I think it's good. And I forget, there was someone attached to this, someone in the studio who was talking about Shazam, and they did say that they don't plan to go a really serious route with Shazam because, again, the character in and of itself is a
not
very screwy
over-
character.
yeah.
I mean, it's about a kid who says the word Shazam and then turns into a superhero. Come on. You know?
You know, my favorite version of Shazam was and this is the second time I've referenced this, was the Flashpoint Paradox. Was when it was 5 kids.
Is that what they did?
Yeah.
I haven't read everything in Flashpoint. So.
In Flashpoint, it's 5 kids.
Was this in the comics or the movie?
The movie. I don't.
Oh, okay. I
fucking-
haven't.
I don't
seen
read
the movie
DC.
yet. Okay.
You know that.
Sorry.
Yo, I got that shit on Blu-ray.
I'll say
got
this:
you,
the
bro.
Shazam I like was when he was still Captain Marvel, and it was in Kingdom Come. That one I really liked only because he was the only one to step up because it was Superman who said to him, "Look, you're the only one who crosses between the two worlds of, human and superhuman. You're the only one who knows both, really, because as a kid you are just a kid. As a superhero, you rival me." So,
But in Kingdom Come, shouldn't he? I haven't finished Kingdom Come, but shouldn't he have been an adult by Kingdom Come?
I don't know. You have to. I don't think so.
Soups is old.
I don't recall. I'll have to go back and take a look. He might have been older, maybe like a teenager or something like that. I'm not sure, but I'll have to go back and take a look. But I won't ruin the end of Kingdom Come for you. But yeah, the final decision comes down to him as to what happens at the end of that series. Superman says to him, "Look, it's not my place to decide at this point what happens to this world. It is your choice. It comes down to Shazam making the choice for humanity." And I won't say what happens, but read it.
Did you
fucking read Kingdom Come?
I've been meaning to. I own it, and I've read some of it. I set it down and never picked it back up. Did you ever watch Young Justice?
Oh yeah.
The episode where all of the adults and the children were put into separate universes?
Yes.
Shazam was the only one that could cross the line.
Yeah.
That was a pretty good one.
So anyway, the last couple we have on the list is Justice League Part 2. Again, everything we said before, same with Zack Snyder. After that...
So wait, hold on. Rewind though. So who do we think would be a villain in the Justice League though?
That's a good question. It's not obviously going to just be Lex Luthor.
No, I mean, I'm thinking if you're going to have 2 parts,
Right.
it has to lead into something big.
Right.
Especially if Justice League Part 2 is going to take place after Infinity War Part 2, isn't it?
Yes.
That shit's Darkseid.
Darkseid?
Oh, yeah. You have to go big.
Really?
You have to go big. Especially with Infinity War, they have to bring in a Titan for that final battle. It's not even to say that Justice League Part 1 and Justice League Part 2 are going to be the same movie. Like 2 parts of the same movie necessarily.
The only other person I could see them bringing in that big, either Darkseid or is it Darkseid or Darkseid?
I think it's Seed.
I always call him Darkseid, but
I don't know, it might be Darkseid. I don't fucking know.
Or Anti-Monitor.
See, and I don't think enough people know Anti-Monitor to bring him in as the big villain. As a villain, yeah. But I think that there would need to be an intro first.
But see, Anti-Monitor is... I mean, he fucking destroys matter.
I'm not saying he's not a great villain, but I'm saying he's not going to sell movies. He's not going to attract the moviegoer. He's a great villain, and I think that after Darkseid, he would be a great next step, especially if they start doing things that Marvel does, where they intro lesser known people to be big roles.
Right.
I think that Anti-Monitor is a great villain. He's a great character, and then the Monitor is the good one, right?
Right. Monitor is the one for most continuities, yeah.
Right.
Now, let's say this. Now, we know this. In the DC Comics coming up, there is a crossover event known as Convergence.
Right.
Do you know what Convergence is going to do? It's basically going to end the New 52.
That's what I figured.
Yeah.
I thought that Future's End was going to do that.
Right. Then Future's End leads to Convergence.
Okay.
Convergence is a big risk for DC. We can talk about that later. But...
because they took a huge fucking risk doing New 52, and now they have to undo it?
Basically. Yeah. So...
this is how we're going to bring the Phoenix back.
So, in Convergence, it's actually not it's a traditional villain, but he's become like the big guy in this, Brainiac.
That's what I thought that picture was.
Right. It's Brainiac, but he's done something to himself. You don't know what. Could you see Brainiac in this?
I could, actually. I could absolutely see Brainiac. Yes.
I could, I don't think you have to go so far to dark side. I think you could see Brainiac.
I think that if you do Brainiac, you might need other villains. Because I don't think that... I mean, really, Brainiac has challenged the Justice League.
Right.
I really think that with Brainiac, it'd be like, I'm going to do this, and Bruce would be like, no, you're not. I uploaded a virus to you before you even finished programming on Krypton.
What? And this falls apart.
Yeah.
Shit.
You weren't even born yet. Superman flew me back in time. We got this shit, bro.
Real nice.
They do a little fist bump, blow it up, put it back together, and Brainiac falls apart. I think that Brainiac would be a great villain.
Right.
I think that there are a lot of smaller villains that if they did...
Well, I mean, you have to look at it. I mean, if it's Justice League, it has to be someone who can cause a global threat. It's not Joker can be there, but it's not going to be Joker.
No, Joker doesn't do global stuff.
Right.
I'm saying,
unless you look at Injustice.
Right.
Injustice is the only time he's ever really done that.
I'm thinking that
that's extremely rare.
The only other thing that they could do, well, I mean, your options are one big villain or a team.
Right.
And honestly, Marvel hasn't done that yet.
And
Marvel hasn't done the...
There's only one other name that comes to mind, and it would be Doomsday.
But Doomsday generally aims right for soups.
Right. But other people get in his way, and he fucks up other people.
And you know what? Really? Doomsday is actually... I would go and see a Superman versus Doomsday movie, mostly because he dies in the end. But that would be a great Superman movie.
Right.
I would love to see that
yeah.
as a Superman movie. Especially, and I know that this shit took a lot of heat. I really liked Electric Superman. It was a different feel for him for a while. He wasn't this like unbeatable god that everybody loves him being, but I liked it because you had to be more creative with the writing. Mm-hmm. Mind you, he was like Electro.
Right.
But there were two of them,
right.
and they hated each other.
Right.
And that was fucking funny to me. And I kept saying, like, there's a yellow one out there, too, because of the yellow on the suit a little bit, and they need that one to get back together. Because the red one's all angry, and the blue one's all calm, and the yellow one's going to be all spastic. They'd be like, yes! Oh my God, there was some kryptonite somewhere. I didn't even know. I can feel it. I didn't even want to be too close. That's
nice.
not even going to pick up on the mic.
No, it's not.
I was listening to a comedian today that said that the most liberating feeling is to do your best crazy black guy voice.
Yes.
That was my impression of a crazy black guy.
Wow. You have to throw in your racism somewhere.
I was talking about Yellow Superman.
I know. I'm joking. So
with some purple drink.
The final two is Cyborg in 2020, which of course is the gentleman Ray Fisher, who we don't really know too much about, but he's going to be, again, kind of his first big film on his own.
See, but and my only worry with this movie is we know even less about fucking Cyborg than we do about Ray Fisher.
Right.
Like, he's never been a solo hero.
Never.
So what do you do? Like,
right.
What villain? You're going to grab one of the random fucking Teen Titan villains or some low-name Justice League villain that would challenge him but that he could overpower?
Right. Or is this going to be, like, is he the lead, but is he a part of something else? We really don't know. But, again, I like Cyborg as a character.
Yeah,
don't get me
too.
wrong. But is he strong enough to support his own film?
I think
it would be like to compare it to something, it'd be like having a Raven film.
Raven would make an awesome fucking movie.
But no, I love Raven. Don't get me wrong. But it's obscure. Not a lot of people know about Raven.
But with Raven, you could make the villain her father.
Right.
Like, she has a clear villain.
Okay.
We don't have a clear villain with Cyborg that I know of.
I don't know of one.
I mean, even though Raven was always on the Titans, and most of the stuff that I know about Raven is from the fucking cartoon. But her father, I mean, Robin was a Batman villain, so there's lots of stuff you could throw that way. Fucking Beast Boy would never be in a movie ever.
No. Starfire, it's really her.
Maybe, but her sister.
Right.
But that would probably take place on our planet.
Right.
But Cyborg, what are you going to do? Like, my worry with this isn't him, and it's not the character. It's who they would cast as a villain. It's what villain they would... What's going to be the antagonist to this movie is my worry for that.
I don't know. I do not know.
See, with every other movie, we can look at it and we can say, all right, Aquaman has Black Manta. Bruce and Clark have each other, plus Lex and whoever else crazy they fucking throw in there. I mean, there's endless amounts. Wonder Woman has the Cheetah, and the fact that she left her island and came back with men at one point, or harbored a man on an island that's not supposed to have men. So she has an entire society against her, and that they're going to use the New 52 storyline. So she's going to be a demigod.
All right.
So you could fucking throw in Hades. Like, there's so much you can do, but then you work your way up to this character, and it's not the character I'm nervous about. It's what you're going to do to challenge him.
Right.
So...
and then finally, we have the Green Lantern reboot, which there has been nothing announced about this except that it is a reboot. It has no ties to the original. We don't know whether or not it will be Hal Jordan, Jon Stewart, Guy Gardner, Kyle Rayner. We have no idea who this will be.
It's not going to be Guy Gardner, you silly boy.
Well, yeah, we know that.
Although
I'm just saying, I'm being facetious, all right?
The first rumor I ever heard about a Green Lantern movie was that Jack Black was going to play Guy Gardner. And I was like,
God.
That would be awful. Mind you, he's probably the only actor that could play Guy Gardner and make it decent. Right. But that would be an awful
He would have to lose about 100 pounds.
No, he wouldn't. Not to be Guy Gardner.
Fat Guy Gardner?
Guy Gardner is fat.
He's not that fat.
He was fat until he was the Guardian.
Yeah.
Or the Warrior.
Right,
and that was an awful character.
It was.
God, Guy Gardner's
really
never been. Related but unrelated. Did you see what I posted on your wall today?
Yes.
Violet Lantern, Jon Stewart.
Right.
Not a bad suit.
And did you see what I said?
I didn't see what you said.
Okay. There's only ever been one male Star Sapphire, and it was
Kyle, right?
Well, no. Actually, Kyle possessed all of the rings at one point. So yeah, he was one by de facto. But he wasn't really a member. He was a member of everything. And then he became the White Lantern.
I'm everything, bitches.
And Guy Gardner had one for a little bit because when all the Green Lantern, it was the War of the Green Lanterns, when all their power rings went away, they had some of the ones left over that had been taken from everyone. So everyone just said, oh, grab one. And Guy grabbed Rage because he already been exposed to that. And because it was left over, he's like, oh, I'll grab Love. Well, I'll mix these two together and see what happens. He just really didn't care. He's like, okay, Rage and Love, sure, why not?
I mean, if I was going to grab Rage, I'd probably grab like Love or Compassion just so I didn't go on a killing spree.
Right, which is basically what he was saying. If I have Love mixed in with this, maybe I won't go apeshit.
Right.
You know, so
he still kind of did.
But again, he wasn't an official member of the Star Sapphires. There's only ever been one male member of the Star Sapphires, and I think the guy's name was Abraham or something like that. No, he has no ties to anything. It was a guy who was possessed by the Predator, who is the entity for the Star Sapphires. He was possessed and just went on like this tirade because he couldn't have the woman he loved. And again, this was during the Brightest Day story arc. He was the only guy to ever be officially part of the Star Sapphires. And he was de facto because he was possessed by the spirit. Jon Stewart being let in, that's the first, in my opinion. And it's like, wow, okay, what the hell did he do? I have no idea what the hell he did to get brought into the Star Sapphires. So that's intriguing.
It was interesting.
I know that he had a love story arc with Fatality. And you know who Fatality is? Kind of a no-name villain of his. She originally was in the Sinestro Corps and was captured by the Star Sapphires. And they actually have a conversion thing where they'll imprison you in like their violet pink crystals. And over time, any malice is sapped from your body. And you are turned into a Star Sapphire. Now, it only works for females. But if you are captured and you're a female and you're a villain, they'll imprison you into these crystals. And after so many days, weeks in these crystals, every malice in you will be sapped away and you'll be made a member of the Star Sapphire Corps. And that's what Fatality became. And Jon Stewart originally approached her like, no, you're a villain. And she's like, no, I love you. And he's like, wait, what?
You tried to kill me. That's just because I wanted the D, bro.
And I was like, wait, what the fuck just happened? So like they were like arch enemies, and now she's like trying to fuck him. What?
He's like, you tried to stab me in my gut. No, I was trying to cut off your belt. I'm just really intense like that.
So I don't know if something happened with her where he like finally reciprocated her emotions. I don't know. And, you know, or I have no idea. I haven't read anything really since War of the Green Lantern. I'm trying to get caught back up, but I'm like 2 years behind.
Well, so. I think that if they decide to go with Hal this time, and I'm a big fan of Ryan Reynolds. I think he's a great actor. Mm-hmm. I don't think that he's Hal Jordan.
No.
And we've discussed this.
Right.
I think that he could very, very clearly be Kyle Rayner. very easily.
Right.
I think that if they go with Hal, I would like to see an actor who, and not to say that Ryan Reynolds couldn't do evil because he did Amityville, and I thought that he did a fantastic job in Amityville Horror.
I'm not a fan of that movie. Sorry.
That's fine. It was a remake, and I know that a lot of people didn't like it, but it wasn't the greatest movie I ever saw, but I liked his performance. I thought that he did good maniacal.
Okay.
But that's not Paradox. No.
Parallax. Yeah, you're thinking of when Hal became possessed by the Sinestro Corps spirit, the Parallax, yeah.
So if you're going to do Hal again, as I said when they did the first movie, you should really get a character or an actor who's going to be capable of doing any version of that character that you decide to go with.
Right.
And
that's the truth.
So if they do Hal again, I'd like to see an actor who's capable of doing Parallax if they decide to go that way. If not, I don't really care.
Right.
What Karen and I have said time and time again, though, is that Idris
Elba.
That guy, would do a really phenomenal Jon Stewart.
And I agree with that. I would really, really like to see that. Here's the saddest part about that Green Lantern film. We're going to get into Marvel in just a second, but I'm going to wrap up with this. That Green Lantern film had so much going for it as far as casting. Michael Clark Duncan as Kilowog. Perfect. Jeremy Rush.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, that was Michael Clark Duncan.
Oh man. He was fucking easily my favorite part of that movie too.
Yeah, Kilowog was great. And Michael Clark Duncan as him was perfect. No, he was CG the whole time.
R.I.P. man.
Yeah, I know.
Can't do that shit again, bro. You get one chance.
I forget his closest friend in the Green Lantern Corps. Tom Ray or Tamar, I forget his name.
Yeah.
But Jeffrey Rush was that character.
Okay.
And that was good. Fucking Mark Strong as Sinestro. Yes! 1,000 times yes! That is perfect casting. The only thing they got wrong with that movie was the fucking screenplay. Oh my God. I mean, I'm not gonna rant. Rant.
What they should have done was First Light.
Right.
That movie, that animated movie, was perfect.
Wait, First Flight. You mean?
I don't give a shit. First Light, First Flight, I don't give a shit. It was a great movie. That's what that movie should have been.
When they did Green Lantern Rebirth, right after that they did Green Lantern's Secret Origin, because it's basically Jeff Johns rewriting the whole Green Lantern origin story. Now, it's still Abin Sur dying and giving the ring to Hal Jordan, but it's not Parallax. It's not like anything related to that. What happens is Atrocitus, the guy who leads the Red Lanterns, finds out about the upcoming Blackest Night, comes down to Earth, and tries to kill Black Hand before it ever starts, because he finds out that Black Hand is the guy who's going to lead the Black Lanterns. So Atrocitus says, "Look."
And this is before, like, the Golden Age?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, this was Secret Origin. I love Secret Origin. So what happens is Atrocitus comes down to Earth and says, okay, I need to kill this guy because he's going to create the Blackest Night. And if I can kill him, then I can prevent the universe from dying. Atrocitus is an asshole, but he's trying to do right in the beginning. But Hal Jordan and Sinestro come down as Green Lanterns and say, no, you're trying to kill this innocent human being who they don't really know who William Hand is at the time. Mm-hmm. And they try and stop Atrocitus. So that's the new origin. And I'm like, if they could have done that, they could have set up the entire Blackest Night story arc.
And, I mean...
And it would have been fucking great!
And with this new reboot, I mean, they have that option. Really, they could have set up the Blackest Night story arc with this Parallax story if they had done it correctly.
Oh, yeah, they could have, yeah. I mean, they lead to the Sinestro Corps, which was bullshit how they did that. But they did lead to the Sinestro Corps. And there's actually a fake... fan-made trailer of the Sinestro Corps movie.
Yeah, I've seen it.
And I'm like, holy shit, I would love to see this.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, I'm like, God, damn it. You know what? Just recast Mark Strong in this movie. Bring back Mark Strong as Sinestro. It is perfect casting. Just do it.
I mean, really... They have the option to do these great movies. So they're getting another chance at doing a Green Lantern movie, which can lead into so many other things.
Oh, it can. It definitely can.
And then we can have, Justice League 2. We could do Justice League 2 Blackest Night.
You
need to change your shorts now, Mike?
Maybe.
And it wouldn't even be like what would actually be really cool and is that to have Marvel has its phases, have some crossover stuff And then I know they don't like this, but in a post-credits thing, kill the hero. Like somebody finds Superman and just shoots him several times with kryptonite bullets and kills him. And then
I don't think you could do that in a post-credits scene.
No, but and that would be the point. People would be so fucking angry that then there'd be the Blackest Night movie where you the first thing you see is these heroes walking out with the Black Lantern symbol on their chest. Mm-hmm. And you're just like, wait, what? And then the movie is about saving these heroes. I'm going to do it. I'm going to write these things.
Okay, fair enough. Well, you know what? We were going to get off of DC and into the topic you want to talk about, which is Marvel. Now, we're going to start off, sadly, not with Marvel Studios. We're going to start off first with the Marvel Fox films. Okay? First one being Fantastic Four, which is due out next August.
Okay.
Now, we already know, obviously, a good lot. Wow.
Yeah.
We already know a good amount about this movie. We know who is obviously going to be in the main cast.
Right.
We know Michael B. Johnson is going to be Johnny Storm.
Right.
I'm kind of spacing on everyone else, but remind me.
I don't know any of their names.
You only know Michael B. Jordan.
There's that white chick. She's going to be Sue.
Right.
And then that guy from Jumper who wasn't Hayden Christensen is Ben.
Right.
And then Reed Richards is played by the guy who isn't Michael B. Jordan or Zac Efron in that awkward moment.
Right. Those guys, people. Go ahead and look them up.
So look that up, and that's who everybody's
I should have done a little homework on that. I apologize.
But what we've actually learned a lot about this movie in the last couple weeks.
Right.
So Ben Grimm is going to be CGI.
Mm-hmm.
And animatronic. So it's not going to be like Michael Chiklis was in the padded suit.
Right.
Michael Chiklis was probably my favorite, one of my favorite parts of the original two.
I liked him.
And I thought that they did a really good job with the Silver Surfer. So we know that one of the early issues that people had with was Johnny Storm being black.
Right, and you know what? We're past that.
Right.
You know.
My issue was that Johnny was black and that Sue wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's recently come out that Sue was adopted.
Okay.
Which, whatever.
Right.
It was revealed pretty early on soon after the cast that it's the story of, I think they're disabled in some way.
Really?
I think they're disabled in some way.
I didn't hear this.
And that they're when they're given powers, it's like a gift and a curse kind of thing. And then the recent news in the last week was about Doom.
Right.
That his name isn't going to be Doom. His real name, it's Davishov, I think.
Something like that, yeah.
Which I'm actually okay with. One of the issues I've always had with earlier comics is Stephen Strange is Doctor Strange and is a wizard.
Right.
And Victor Von Doom is Doctor Doom and he's a tyrant.
Right.
That's a convenient name to have and to have gone into that field.
Mm-hmm.
And not to say that doesn't happen, but that's a little too convenient for me.
Mm-hmm.
In the Ultimate Universe, Victor's name is Victor Von Dam. And then he becomes Doctor Doom.
Okay.
But not only is his name different, he's an internet blogger.
Oh.
So I don't know if he's.
There's nothing more sinister than an internet blogger, let me tell you.
I don't know if he's still a super genius. I don't know if they have any sort of occult connections to him. I just know that they specified recently that he's an internet blogger.
So we don't really have much more to talk about with the Fantastic Four right now.
No.
Just as far as casting, it is what it is.
We've seen a couple images, nothing major yet.
Right. We do know that there have been a numerous amount of problems as far as screenwriting, as far as, getting the film, not greenlit, but, getting, approval from the studio.
Getting it moving.
Right, getting it moving, right. But it's due out in less than a year. So we'll see what happens.
Hopefully they can fucking finish it.
So in 2016, which was just confirmed about a month or two ago, was the Deadpool movie.
Which is great.
Right.
We've had this rumor for years that they would do that.
Right, and then that clip was leaked, the pilot teaser.
Yeah,
that was
and
leaked.
Fucking great. If this movie is anything like that fucking trailer.
And I'm going to say two things. One, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, Actually, I'll say 3 things. 2, we don't know if it's going to be Ryan Reynolds coming back yet. They believe it is.
I thought it was confirmed recently.
He's in talks.
Okay.
But his contract ran out as far as being with Marvel and 20th Century Fox. So I think they're trying to re-sign him for it. It would be terrible if they didn't, but...
I mean, what's he going to do? R.I.P.D. 2?
Oh, God. Don't bring up that movie. Oh,
Actually,
God.
I like that movie, too. Gotta have very different criteria for movies.
And 3, it's going to be PG-13.
What?
Yeah. That was recently announced. Fox is going to do it, and it's going to be PG-13. Which...
Fox ruins everything.
I know. Which is quite disappointing. I will say that. That being said... They can if they keep that humor, if they keep the action the way it was shot in that, it doesn't have to be bloody. It doesn't have to be a lot of language. It can still be that and be PG-13. Just that footage had so much going for it. And it can still be crude humor. It can still be what Deadpool is and work as PG-13. But you have to make it work. I mean, you've brought this back from the dead. You know, literally, that's Deadpool. You've brought him back, even though he shouldn't have been dead. Fucking make this work.
He wasn't dead.
No, I mean
his body got up.
I mean the series. You know what I mean.
I know.
But
so here's the question: Is this in connection with Wolverine?
That is a good question. We don't know. If it is Ryan Reynolds, we assume it's the same continuity as the X-Men films. We would assume.
So not only would he have the katanas, but he'd still have the Baraka-Pool blades.
Probably.
That he could whip out and be all awesome with.
We don't know. We don't know if he
gets super pissed off and just
takes
Scott
him
Summer
out.
somebody in the face.
Right. So, and then a few months after that, we'll be getting X-Men Apocalypse.
Woot!
I know you're excited for that.
So, and we have more news on that.
Yes, we do.
So they'd already confirmed it would take place in the 80s.
Right.
It's going to be the final story for this trio. To
right.
focus, or not on this trio, on this team. Charles, Eric, Raven, and Hank.
Right.
So it's supposed to wrap up their story and then move on from there.
Right. I have been told it's going to focus a bit more on Magneto and Mystique.
Right. It's going to focus more on their romance.
Right.
Actually, a couple things. It's going to focus more on their romance. It's going to focus a lot on Raven's relationship with Hank. Mm-hmm. And her relationship in comparison to Eric and Charles. On top of the romantic aspect of her relationship with Eric, it's also not going to be shy about her father-daughter relationship with Eric. Because looking at the way that First Class set up her character in relation to these two men, they both helped raise her.
I always thought that Charles was more of a brother-sister relationship, not a father-daughter.
I kind of thought too, but looking at it from the standpoint of he's always kind of had that fatherly, I need to take care of somebody mentality.
Right.
And he pulled her out the street and made her something different.
But I always think, the only way I see it is they look like they're roughly the same age at that point.
Oh, we don't know that.
I mean, yeah, we don't know how old she is just because
right.
she ages
right.
much slower. I mean, she could have been older than him at that point. We don't know.
She could have been.
But
that might not have been her real form.
True. But I don't know. I always saw them more, siblings than parental. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, this is what I read. That they both kind of had that potential parental feel to it, and that they're not going to shy away from that with her relationship with Eric.
Right.
That it's going to have that. It's going to have that underlying father-daughter, but they're banging.
That's.
Which I'm not going to lie, I'm kind of a pig, and when that happens for father-son in a movie, I mean, even if it's acting, I'm like, wait, that's your kid? Yep, I'm done.
Wow.
And I don't mean done in a bad way. I mean done I need a rest now, and I'm going to come back to this movie later. But father-daughter, that's inappropriate. She's a lady.
Whoa. Anyway, so X-Men Apocalypse. What more do we need to say about it? Obviously, that the main antagonist is going to be Apocalypse.
We don't yet know if Sinister's going to be in it.
No.
We don't know how they're going to do the Horsemen yet.
Right.
But I mean, it was confirmed at the end of the last movie there will be 4 Horsemen.
Right. Sorry. Little spoiler. Sorry. I mean, it's an after credit scene.
It's an after credit scene, but All right. Well. All right. I mean, you can take that out if you want.
Nah.
But
I'm not gonna take it out. I'm just saying, hey guys, sorry. We're apologizing now. Sorry if we spoiled that for you.
I'm super excited about this movie because of what they've done with the last two. I really feel confident that they can do this movie and that they can do it right.
Right. Because again, excluding the Wolverine film, which I know you hate, but I consider, with First Class and then to Days of Future Past, two very solid films.
I mean, I think the X-Men, out of the X-Men movies, they have had so far 4 solid movies.
I would agree with that.
1, 2, and then
First Class
and
Days of
Future Past.
Right.
Were 4 solid movies.
Right.
I think that X3 was a crapshoot.
They just had way too much to try and cram in.
Right. Because I think that they thought that was going to be their last movie.
Right.
And it wasn't. And
but then they realized, oh wait, there's a loophole in this contract. Let's keep making them.
Right. And I keep saying, I feel like they thought that they had to conclude everything on a big note and messed up. Then they went to do Wolverine because they knew they messed up and said, well, we can do this movie that everybody's going to love anyway because it's him. And they made a worse movie because they didn't fucking try. And then they did First Class because they knew they had to fucking do something real.
Right.
So they put something into it and it was astounding.
Right.
And then they did The Wolverine.
Right.
Because
Which
again,
I know you didn't like, but I didn't hate it as much as Origins. I'm not
hated
saying
them
it was
both.
good, but it was better than Origins. Moving on to the next one in that series, we're going to get off of that, which is the Untitled Wolverine sequel.
I'm super excited for Apocalypse, guys.
I know you are. We know nothing about this movie, obviously, other than that it comes out after Apocalypse.
Oh, I do know one thing.
What's that?
It's going to suck.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm pretty much done with Wolverine films.
Yeah, me too.
Unless you decide to make it rated R, which we know they're not going to do.
It doesn't even need to be rated R.
I know it doesn't,
just needs
but
to fucking be written right.
Right. I know that. I'm just saying.
They've done the first and they've made fucking 1, 2, 3 Wolverine movies that were good.
Yeah.
X-Men 1, X-Men 2, and Days of Future Past.
Right.
Why they can't do that when he doesn't have the rest of the X-Men around is beyond me. Because it's not even like they're focusing on different parts of his life.
You know what it tells me? It tells me what they're probably doing is, we're going to make a separate series of films for Wolverine. Let's get a different screenwriter for it. Not the same screenwriters, the same directors, and somehow that'll work. No, it doesn't fucking work. But anyway, moving off from that, the next one up in that is Fantastic Four 2. Which again,
we know zero about because we
don't
know how the first one's done yet.
Right, exactly. We will be judging that one accordingly after Fantastic Four comes out.
I mean, I think that the only thing we can do about that is to speculate in who they would even use as a villain.
Right.
Hopefully they don't go big and cosmic again immediately. I would hope that they would do. Sony, I think, owns the rights to Namor, so they can't do Namor.
Right.
But they have a plethora of other villains. They can't do Claw because Marvel Studios owns them, I'm pretty sure.
I don't know. That sounds about right.
I'm pretty sure that that's who Andy Serkis is playing in
Right.
But, I mean, they have a plethora of villains that they can still use. So they could even go that route of doing a supervillain team, like I was saying, for Justice League, and do the Fearsome Four with the Wizard.
Right.
So, I mean, we don't know where they'll go after the first one. We don't even know if they'll make it. It's confirmed that they will, but the first one bombs.
Yeah. Well, we probably will not see this movie.
Right.
And then the final one up with Marvel Fox is the Untitled Marvel film. That's all they're calling it right now. The Untitled Marvel film.
So X-Men.
Well, no, we don't know. This is either going to be X-Force or Gambit.
Oh, right.
We don't know this just yet.
Well, we've definitely got greenlit on a Gambit movie. So it's just a matter of which one happens first.
Right. Now, again, we don't know. We don't know if these are both going to be films or which one is getting this release date. We don't know just yet.
What has been confirmed is that Channing Tatum will be Gambit.
Right, and he'll be making his first appearance in Apocalypse.
Right.
Now, they want to do a standalone Gambit film. Mm-hmm. Whether that's going to be this film in 2018, we don't know. I will say this: of the two, I think I'd rather see X-Force, only because I've never really been a huge fan of Gambit. But I would see either one.
I liked Gambit in the 90s. And then in Ultimate X-Men, when they introed him and they never brought him onto the team, I got a little upset. And then his character was killed. And I was even more upset. But then I realized I like the team without him a lot more. I was like,
Nice.
but Gambit, and then I'm reading and I'm like, God, you get on my nerves. Go away. Stop trying to fuck everyone.
Nice.
Logan doesn't want you. Logan's
Real nice.
Rogue won't let me touch her. He's like fucking Danny J. Like,
Oh my
hey,
God.
Hey, I'm not gay, but can I touch your dick? Danny, how much have you had to drink? I only had like 1 or 7 beers.
For those of you who know Danny J, go look up my beach trip videos. Anyway, so we're going to get off from Fox and get into the few coming out from Marvel.
Well, hold on.
What?
Before we get off of Fox.
Okay.
The stipulation, or the only reason I would think that they might go into an X-Force movie would be depending on how they end Apocalypse.
Right.
If Apocalypse survives, well, actually, it doesn't even really matter if Apocalypse survives because Nate is a time traveler.
Right.
So if they decide to go with a more timey-wimey feel, they could do Cable's X-Force.
Right.
Which would have some sort of ragtag team of future and present heavy hitters.
Right.
So you could, if you do that, you could do, and this would be really cool, bring back What's-His-Face as Sunspot. Bring in a cannonball. Do Boomer was one of my favorite X-Force characters.
Mm-hmm.
She's like Dazzler but more explosive.
Mm-hmm.
Wolfsbane, there were such great characters. Or if he dies, and they go for the clone route, which they did in Uncanny X-Force, you could bring Wolverine's X-Force, which brought in Wolverine, Psylocke, who else? X-23, who
I was going to say X-23,
we probably wouldn't see in a movie.
No.
Archangel, who, depending on how they do Apocalypse, we might see.
Mm-hmm.
Who else? Who else was on that?
Was Siren in that?
Siren was on X Factor.
Okay. Too many
Warpath.
X's. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. So depending on what route they take, is even depending... There are multiple X-Force teams.
Oh, right.
So... we don't even know, just by saying X-Force, what we're talking about.
Right.
I mean, God willing, they don't do X-Force as the Ecstatics team. Ooh, buddy. Like, we're going to see that, and it's going to be like, and playing Dupe. And I'm going to be like, fuck it, I quit.
Dupe. Who the fuck is Dupe?
You don't know Dupe?
No.
Dupe isn't even technically a mutant. He's like from a neighboring universe dimension thing, but his body is a gateway.
His body is a gateway.
His body is a gateway. He's actually one of the few Ecstatics members to actually come over into the X-Men comics. He actually probably still does, lives at the mansion. At one point, Polaris looked into him and saw like the end of the universe.
Huh.
Like, it drove her insane because, Eric Lencher's bloodline has such a fucking stern grip on sanity. But that's
I love that quote. I'm sorry.
That's the other thing, is that Evan Peters will be reprising his role as Quicksilver.
Right.
So that's another thing that's super fucking exciting.
Mm-hmm. Because we loved that character in Days of Future Past.
And not even sarcastically. Like, oh my God, I remember first seeing his fucking stupid
his outfit,
silver
I know.
fucking blazer, and I was like, how much acid did you take when you designed this character?
Right.
And then that
it
fucking
worked.
role.
It worked.
I mean, you're supposed to be, but you're not fucking supposed to talk in the theater anyway. But I was speechless. I just looked at Steve and my jaw was dropped. And he was like, that was my favorite scene.
Right.
And I was like, oh my God. Avengers has so much to live up to.
I know.
And I kept saying
really
it the other way
does.
around. And now I look at the Avengers one and I'm like, what's with those sneakers, bro?
I know.
Why are you running around in those track pants?
But we're going to get into some Marvel Sony. And there's not too much on Sony's plate because I feel like Sony knows that they're up shit creek without a paddle.
Yeah.
So we're going to touch on the few things that they have slated. There's a ton of rumors about what they want to do, but nothing really confirmed. The only confirmed ones we have are first Sinister Six.
Which the big rumor that has started around this movie is that it's going to be used to reboot the Spider-Man universe again, introing it into a Sony Marvel Studios crossover, allowing Spider-Man to then be used in MCU storylines.
Right.
So that would be big. That would be big for Sony. They would make a lot of money.
Oh, yes, they would.
And I think that they see that and that they keep fucking up.
Right. They're at the point now where it's like, you know what? We did all right with Amazing Spider-Man. We completely fucked up Amazing Spider-Man 2. We need a fresh start. Even though we want to ride this for a few more films, we need a fresh start.
Yeah, like I didn't hate Amazing Spider-Man 2 as much as I hated Spider-Man 3.
I agree with you there.
I mean, I left it and I was like, okay, I see what they were trying to do. They didn't do the best job I've ever seen, and they can come back from this. If they do it right, they can come back from this.
There were with Amazing Spider-Man 2, there were just so many missed opportunities and so much lazy screenwriting. And think about this for a second. I don't know if I told you about this or not. Think about Jamie Foxx in Amazing Spider-Man 2. Mm-hmm. Okay, he is Jim Carrey in Batman Forever.
I like Batman Forever,
but
I like Jim Carrey in that.
But think about that character. He is exactly the same.
Well, the origin stories, yeah.
Right. He's exactly the same. Some dork, some nerd, who is head over heels about some other guy, and then goes apeshit when he can't really, not like be with him, but, like gets like shot down. You
guys, I think Mike just told my origin story. One day I'm going to be head over heels for some other guy, and then they're going to kill me, and I'm going to come back, and they're going to be like, damn it, we knew it! Paul's a supervillain again.
But it's pretty much the exact same origin. It's the exact same character, just written for the Marvel Universe.
Yeah, I think that when they became those villains, they were different. I think that...
But I'm just saying, you can argue for the character. I'm just saying it's lazy.
What I'm saying it's not even in defense for this movie. The origin story part, yes. But then the actual execution of the character, the Riddler had a confidence to him.
Right.
And that was something this character never had. He was very easily manipulated. Which I feel everybody in this movie was manipulating everybody else. And nobody was doing a good job of it.
Right. That's true.
I feel like they did the Green Goblin right once. And even in that, they didn't do him right, but they did him acceptable. The Willem Dafoe Green Goblin was the most acceptable one they've done so far. And it wasn't even correct.
Right.
And they've tried a couple more times to do different versions of that and bombed.
Right.
And I actually liked the Harry Osborn Green Goblin better than I liked this one.
Did you really?
I mean,
we're getting way off topic here, but no, we can sum this up.
I don't think we are. But I think if Sony decides to go with the route that it's rumored that they're going to go, I think that they can do really well. Okay. People will be annoyed that they're rebooting Spider-Man again, but it would be for a good reason.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I know a lot of people who are, there's been a lot of reboots as of late, and people were most annoyed when they heard about Spider-Man, and now that they're going to be doing it again, people are going to be like, okay, you know what? Fuck this series.
But see, you know what they could do is they could just do what they did with The Incredible Hulk.
Right.
Just start a Spider-Man story and have flashbacks to the origin.
Right. That's true.
And there you go. True. Or just open it with, here's how this happened, and now here's where we are.
Right.
So, okay. Appa.
Appa down. Down, buddy.
1, 2.
Good boy.
Give your daddy
all right.
Attitude.
So, after that, somewhere in 2017, we don't know exactly where yet, but we're going to be getting an untitled female spin-off of this Spider-Man universe. Mm-hmm. We don't know who it is. We don't know what it is. Now, you believe it's going to be Black Cat.
I think that it'll probably be Black Cat.
Right. You want it to be Spider-Gwen.
I so want it to be Spider-Gwen. It's not even funny.
And I've seen the designs for Spider-Gwen. You and I talked about that. And Spider-Gwen looks really cool.
She's really cool. The concept is that she was bitten instead of Peter.
Right.
And I haven't read the issue, but I really want to because I think that Peter may have been the lizard. And I think that she killed him. I've only read a couple frames, but I really need to find this book. And I think it was greenlit for an ongoing series. Now, and I need something to read.
There was a continuity. It was the What If series in Marvel where Gwen didn't die, but instead became Carnage. Do you remember that? It might have been a one shot. I don't recall, but
I don't remember that.
But she became Carnage. In fact, I think she died at the hands of Carnage, but became part of Carnage. Like Carnage took on her persona.
No, dummy, that was Ultimate.
Are you sure?
Yes. In the Ultimate Universe, Carnage is not a symbiote from Venom. it is an unstable clone of Peter Parker that requires life force to live, and it drained her to a husk. And then they cloned her, but she has the same thing where she's a Carnage. So she's now in control of it, but she can turn into a Carnage monster to fight if ever she needed to. But she's not a hero or a villain. That's in the Ultimate Universe.
Oh, I had no idea. All I know is that there was a what if where Gwen lived, and I believe she was attacked by Carnage. That's all I know.
It's actually kind of funny when she gets super emotional, her face shifts back to Carnage.
Huh.
And she's not angry or fighting. It just shifts. She doesn't hold her form anymore, and it just goes back, and she has to focus to get it back.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, and then once Peter died, she had moved back in with May and Peter. They knew what she was. May was very, very motherly to a lot of superheroes at this point. Bobby and Johnny both lived there. And now it's just May and clone Gwen. And Gwen protects her.
Huh.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So, after this unnamed female spinoff, we'll be getting The Amazing Spider-Man 3. Presumably, if everything stays as it is right now. Yeah. If, there's no crossover event with Marvel. Or studios, I should say, which we don't know right now.
Hopefully they'll shut this idea down, and they will go from the last movie to something better.
Right.
Now, my confusion would be how they would use the Sinister Six to start a Spider-Man story, unless they used it to jump in to a Spider-Man story. You know what I mean? If it was if in this movie Spider-Man was already established, and then they did the next Spider-Man story where it was before that, but still not oh, well, let me tell you about this time I missed the bus. I'm yeah, we heard that story already. We know you were a big geek, you got picked on, and then there was that other universe where you were not as geeky and you were kind of cool and a little bit cuter, and you dated a much cuter girl. And
Right.
Although I don't want to have to watch Gwen die again.
Right. So, spoilers, but, everyone should know that.
Everybody knew that.
Everyone should know that.
Steve didn't know. He was did you know she was going to die? Yes.
Yeah.
How did you know she was going to die? Well, one, I've read the books, and two, initially, Mary Jane was cast in this movie.
Right. Not only that, but, the comics for that are, 30, 40 years old at this point. Even most comic book readers know, within that universe, Gwen dies.
One of my favorite things that Marvel Comics did was in House of M, where everybody got what they wanted. Mm-hmm. Ben and Gwen didn't die.
Right.
And he was married to Gwen.
Mm-hmm.
And what's interesting is that in any universe that he's married to Gwen Stacy, or Gwen Parker, mm-hmm. they have a son named Benjamin. Yeah. And in any universe where he's married to Mary Jane, they have a daughter named Mayday.
Except, in the Spider-Girl universe, they still have a son named Benjamin.
Oh, do they have the son too?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So,
that's right, the baby.
Right.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. So that's I have a few comics for Spider-Girl. I was getting them for free for a while. So that's
it's okay. I forgive you.
That's anyway.
I heard that the writing wasn't awful, and Pete looked pretty cool with a goatee.
Yeah. So getting off from Marvel Sony, we're gonna get right into the meat of it, which is Marvel Studios.
There we go.
So starting up with Phase 3. Or I should say, at the ending of Phase 2, I should say.
Wrapping up Phase 2, there's everything that we have about Avengers 2, Ultron.
Right, which is what the first one I'm going to mention here, Avengers Age of Ultron.
We've
been talking about this plenty. There's not much more we can say.
And I was going to say that. There's really not much more to say other than go watch the trailers and be excited.
Right.
The only thing that really we've got right now, and I realize that I've got 8 years until I get the actual movie, but I'm going to mention it now, is the Inhumans. Mm-hmm. There's been talk that they're going to introduce them well before the movie, mm-hmm. and rumor that they're going to do it soon.
Did you hear how they're doing it?
Has there been confirmation yet? Because
this just came out 1 or 2 days ago. This might be news for you.
Okay.
There's talk that Inhumans are coming up and that it's going to lead from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh, dude, I've been saying that since the end of last season.
Okay, but it's all but been confirmed at this point.
Yeah, I've been saying that Skye is probably an Inhuman, mm-hmm. and that the symbols were a map or writing that were Inhuman writing. Mm. And now that they say that it's a city, I've been saying, as soon as I said it was a map, I said it's a map of a Talon. Mm. And a friend of mine that I work with at Best Buy said he did some research after I told him about the Inhumans because he didn't know anything about them.
I still know very little about them.
Well, initially they were based in the Himalayan mountains.
We can talk about this when we get to that.
Well,
but
I'm getting to that.
Okay.
In S.H.I.E.L.D. the show, they mentioned that there was a town in China that was leveled, and that the only one it's where one of the characters' father was.
Okay.
So I said, well, that's what Black Bolt does. People find out about them, and he destroys wherever they are, and they move. So the reason I'm mentioning the Inhumans is because the two big theories were A, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. introing them in this season, and B, the twins in Age of Ultron. It was never officially confirmed. I thought that it was, but that their origin story was going to be that they were Inhumans.
And that's how they're going to get around the whole mutant loophole.
Right.
Okay.
I liked that, and I liked that for a very specific reason. It's a very inconclusive way to say you got your powers.
Right.
And mutants exposed to the Terrigen Mist kind of go a little bit crazy, and their powers are supercharged.
Okay.
So if Marvel Studios and Fox were ever able to work together, they were able to bring Magneto into the lives of these two characters. I mean, even if they were able to say oh no, I met you in the 70s.
Right. I mean, we are actually going to talk about that a little bit later, but yeah.
He could very easily say, you're not an Inhuman, you're a mutant. You were exposed to that, so your powers developed earlier than they should have. Or it allows for potential easy retconning cleanup in a very smart way.
Right.
If they decided to do that.
Right.
More than just an excuse, a way to get past the mutant thing, it does allow for potential cleanup.
Right. That's all we're really going to say about Age of Ultron.
That's really
if you want to hear us talk about it more, go listen to Threading and Dreading episode 23, because we talked about it for 15-20 minutes on there if you want to hear us talk more about Age of Ultron. And it's plenty in there, so go ahead and do that, guys.
Or you can just fucking look me up on Facebook.
Yeah,
I'll fucking talk to you for hours about it.
So after that, we will be getting the last film in Phase 2, which we thought would be the start of Phase 3, but they're saying now it is the end of Phase 2, which is Ant-Man.
It's ballsy.
Right.
I mean, we ended the last phase on Avengers.
Right. So you would assume they would do the same here, and that they would start with Ant-Man in Phase 3.
Right. I mean, I always thought that the phases were ending with the big fight that it was leading to.
Right.
So I'm wondering what all is going to happen in this movie now.
Right.
I know a little bit.
Right. I don't know too much. That's all I'm going to say. I've known very little about the Ant-Man film.
What I do know is that it's going to be the story of an aged Hank Pym training master thief Scott Lang, because now that Paul Rudd is helping has helped to write a new screenplay.
Right.
He's changed it from, I don't remember the term they used, but petty thief to master thief.
Okay.
Fine, I don't give a shit. In fact, if you're going to be a potential Avenger, be a master at something.
Right.
And they're going to be aged Hank Pym ex Ant-Man. So he was Ant-Man.
Okay.
He, from what I've read, he's not going to don the suit. However, I do have a character mock-up of him wearing the suit, which is kind of funny. They're going to be fighting Yellow Jacket.
Really?
Who is another of Hank Pym's personas. Actually my favorite. The potential design that I have found, and I can send it to you. It's not confirmed that that's what this is.
Okay.
It showed up on Twitter. I don't know what it showed up on Twitter for, or whose Twitter it showed up on, but it's a suit that looks like it could be a Yellow Jacket suit. Professionally done, not just like a drawing.
Huh.
And it is said that the Yellow Jacket suit is going to be a militarized, more advanced version of the Ant-Man technology. So this is what I'm told the movie's going to be about. I'm thinking basically Iron Man.
Okay.
So we'll have the prototype,
right,
and then we'll have the more advanced air quotes version. But this looks like it would be more the Mark 43, only held together. Whereas the Ant-Man suit would be more the Mark 1.
Right.
Whereas in Iron Man, it was the Ironmonger, which was a modified Mark 1,
right,
against the Mark 3, which was Beast.
Right.
So
So that's for the Ant-Man film, which is due out in July of 2015. After that, in 2016, we'll be getting what I really consider to be the start. Well, it's officially the start of Phase 3, although really you would say Ant-Man is the start of Phase 3. But it's Captain America Civil War. So, I'm sure you have many things to say about this.
I was not happy that they chose this storyline.
Really?
I really like Civil War the comic.
Uh-huh.
But it started to really annoy me that as many people as did wanted this story. Not because it's a bad story, but because there are so many other better stories that happened before Civil War ever happened.
Let me say this. I'm sure you caught the joke where initially they said it was Captain America Serpent Society.
Yeah.
Which made me laugh.
Which I was like, what the fuck is that? And then the next post was Civil War, and I was like, I need to Google this and find out which one I need to be mad about. I think that the way I think they're going to go with this is going to be really interesting. And they brought in, and this is where they're going to introduce the Black Panther, which I think is very smart, with Chadwick Bosworth. Also, to go back to Ant-Man, there is one other thing. I can't think of the actor/rapper that is in that movie, but he has a sidekick.
Actor/rapper.
T.I.? Not T.I. But there's a black actor who's in the movie who plays a sidekick. My thought is Goliath. I would really like to see a Goliath. Especially since they're doing Civil War and Goliath is killed in Civil War. Now, mind you, I don't think they're going to introduce a Thor clone that fucking loses its mind. But
right.
You never know.
Right.
I think that a Captain America Civil War movie would not be a bad movie.
Mm-hmm.
I was upset. I was glad that it wasn't an Avengers movie.
Mm-hmm.
But I still think that there are a lot of better stories to focus on that happened before Civil War.
Right.
I think that we shouldn't be focusing on so many of the current stories. These stories came from somewhere.
Right.
They have a history. There are from the 60s. There's 50 years of story writing here, and a lot of just the first 10 years was a lot of really deep, really unique story writing. So I think that though this will be a great movie, there were other ideas.
Right.
This one, I feel, pandered a little to the audience.
I would agree with that as well. Yeah. Now, again, having not read Civil War and what you've told me about it, it sounds pretty cool.
It is.
And I would like to see this.
It's
and
also,
I initially said it was, and I hate to compare it to stuff in DC, but it sounded like
you don't.
No, it sounded like a Marvel version of Kingdom Come, with the way that it was these two sides who, in their own ways, are both right. It's just that they're both coming to the wrong conclusion in the end,
right?
And it comes to fists. You know.
Now, one of the coolest things about Civil War is something that they won't be able to do in this yet, if at all. And was Spider-Man.
I read about this, yeah.
And Spider-Man chose Tony's side initially.
And then switch sides. Because of what he saw Tony was trying to do, which wasn't wrong. It was just more militarized than Peter was comfortable with. Right.
So they can't do this in this.
Right.
I'm hoping that they have somebody in here that will matter. Chadwick Bosworth being introduced as a Black Panther and choosing one side and switching to another. Nobody's going to give a shit.
Right.
If they did that, I think that would be really good. They don't have time to do that.
No.
So they can't.
Right.
But it would be interesting. Unless they decided to use that movie to fucking reboot Spider-Man.
That would be interesting.
That would be very interesting.
Yeah.
Up-and-coming superhero chooses Tony Stark's side, is a young superhero.
Right. So we'll see. We don't know. But
we don't.
Would you say you're looking forward to that?
I am.
Okay.
I was very impressed.
You just wish they would choose something else, but that's not to say you're not looking forward to it.
I'm very much looking forward to it. Like I said, I'm pleased that it's not an Avengers movie.
Right.
Because I think that would take away from other great stories.
Agreed.
I think that the Infinity War is great, and I'm glad that they're doing it. My worry for that was that, like Batman 3, they weren't going to do the obvious choice because they thought because it was the obvious choice, it wasn't the right choice. I still feel that Johnny Depp Riddler was the right choice for that movie.
Okay, so Moving on from Captain America Civil War, the next one up, which would be November of 2016, is Doctor Strange, which I have to say, there are a few things I followed in Marvel when I was a kid. I followed Doctor Strange, and I loved Doctor Strange. Yeah. It was, well, here's the reason why, and thank me a nerd for it. My dad had Doctor Strange comics. It was one of the few comics he collected when he was younger. He had Doctor Strange comics from 76, 77, somewhere in there, that I still have in my bedroom, back in my parents' house, and I loved them. I thought they were really cool, really old storylines that probably have no correlation to anything he's done like the last 10 years, but all stuff I liked.
Solid.
Yeah, so I gotta say, I am looking forward to this, oddly, probably, I wouldn't say more than anything else in Phase 3, but definitely more than like any of the single shots in Phase 3. Like anything that's just like one superhero, you know what I'm saying? More than Ant-Man, more than Thor, more than Captain America, more than anything else like that. I'm looking forward to Doctor Strange more than anything else.
It's definitely up there for me.
Right. And we now know who is going to be playing Doctor Strange.
Thrillingly finally confirmed, Benedict Cumberbatch.
Correct. Which again, I was surprised by that choice, but that's a good choice.
I agree.
I was not expecting them to go with him. But sure, I can see him being that part, and I think it'll be good.
I mean, we know who I wanted, but that was never in the running.
Right.
Just and it was funny.
Jared Leto for everything.
No, not Jared Leto.
I know.
Hugh Laurie.
I know, you wanted Hugh Laurie.
I was joking with somebody that Dr. House would be the perfect Doctor Strange, and I was like, holy shit, Dr. House would be the perfect Doctor Strange. I think Benedict Cumberbatch will be a fantastic Doctor Strange.
Agreed.
And this is probably one of my top 3 that I'm looking forward to.
Okay.
The other being Thor and the Inhumans.
Okay.
I don't follow the Arcane or space stories as much as I follow the Earthbound superhumans.
I like the Arcane stuff.
And not that I don't like it. I do like it.
Right.
I just haven't followed it as much.
The thing is there's a decent amount of that in DC. I find that more often than not, it's hard to come more by that in Marvel.
I agree.
But when it is in Marvel, I mean, when it's done in Marvel, it's still done right.
Yeah.
There's fewer cases of it that you can find in Marvel.
I have one of my favorite fights in Dark Reign was an Arcane fight.
Okay.
And it was the Secret Avengers. Well, I mean, all the Avengers were secret at this point. But the Avengers, Hawkeye's team of Avengers, and Son of Satan. And Brother Voodoo, Sorcerer Supreme, versus the Hood, possessed by Dormammu. And Jesus Christ.
Wait, Jesus Christ was there? Dude, that's an amazing fight.
Everybody was there. Everybody was there.
Wow.
And Hawkeye was Ronin. I like Hawkeye's Ronin. And that was when Marvel does the Arcane, they do a wonderful job of it. They do a great job. It's never campy. It's never... I mean, it can sometimes be kind of goofy depending on the character, but they do a great job. I've just never... I don't know. I like Doctor Strange, but I've never picked up a Doctor Strange book.
I'd give you some of my old comics, so I'm afraid they're falling apart at this point just because they're so old. We'll find something.
I found volume 1 of the original Ghost Rider.
Really?
Like a collection.
Uh-huh.
And the first couple stories for that, first off, Ghost Rider was kind of a pussy, but the writing, the stories were so great. And Son of Satan is introed in that. And it really makes you think, like, these are the characters that I want to see in the MCU. These stories. The things where things really came from.
All right.
And I think that Doctor Strange is going to be one of those stories where it really delves into where he came from. But they did say this is not going to be an origin movie.
Right.
So it is not going to start with him being a douchebag doctor.
Right.
But they are probably still going to do the flashbacks. I mean, we need to know where he came from.
Right.
And I really think the Cumberbatch will be great. More so, I want to see Cumberbatch on the Avengers now.
Yeah.
Because he'll be there.
Right.
And it's going to be fucking great.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but Doctor Strange has always been more of like an advisory role for the Avengers, not necessarily taking part.
He takes part.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I've never really seen that.
He was in the fight in AVX. He was in a couple fights in AVX.
Oh, I haven't read AVX.
Yeah.
Okay.
He helped in that. He's part of the Illuminati. He's not a ranking member.
Okay.
He's an honorary member, and he helps.
Okay.
He's gone out and done stuff with them.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so after Doctor Strange in 2017, we'll be getting Guardians of the Galaxy 2. So we can only assume that with Guardians 2, we're going to be getting the first hints of what's going to happen in Infinity War. Because with the ending of Guardians of the Galaxy, with what we had with, the Infinity Stone and with Thanos and everything like that, we can only assume Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is going to be diving into that same territory. Not necessarily with like another Infinity Stone, or do you call it Infinity Gem or Infinity Stone?
Well, in the movie, they're gems.
Okay.
Or they're stone. I don't fucking care.
Yeah. Infinity things.
Yeah.
The things.
The things and the stuff.
Right. But because they've already introduced those characters in that main continuity, we can only assume the next step would be that leading to what would happen in Infinity War, which we'll be getting to shortly, obviously.
Well, I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. And the reason I agree is, and ladies and gentlemen, there may be spoilers coming up with what I'm about to say. So if you haven't seen Guardians of the Galaxy, skip like 5 minutes of this podcast.
Okay. Sorry. Spoilers.
So in the end of Guardians of the Galaxy, they mention that Peter doesn't have human blood.
Right.
That he's half something else. Mm-hmm. In the books, his father is an emperor of another race.
Okay.
They've confirmed that that's not what it is in the books.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's not his father.
Then who do you think it is?
Adam Warlock.
And who is Adam Warlock?
Adam Warlock is one of Thanos' biggest enemies.
Okay.
And he wears the soul gem on his head.
Huh.
Which is what gives him personality and makes it so that he's not just this killing machine. I think he's a manufactured being created to stop great evil. He's been in 2 movies already. His cocoon has been seen in the Collector's
Right. I'd heard about that. Right.
And when the room blew up, it's theorized that he hatched or broke out or it was torn.
Okay.
So if they decide to go that route, that gives us Adam Warlock, the Soul Gem, Peter's father, and potentially more villains.
Right.
Because he even has a polar opposite other personality half split from him, whose name I can't think of at the moment. There's all kinds of things that they can do with that. Even more than that is we weren't sure if there was going to be a Phase 4 with everything they're doing in Phase 3.
Right.
The guy who, the director or writer, or what's his name?
James Gunn.
James Gunn?
Right.
That's what I was thinking. Jim Gunn. Already knows what he wants to do for Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Really?
So we know that there's going to be more after the Infinity War. What I'm looking forward to in this next movie is to see Adam Warlock. I mean, there's so many other villains.
Everything you're saying here makes perfect sense. It sounds like this is the route they're going to go.
It sounds like it's the right route to go.
Right.
Or, depending on what S.H.I.E.L.D. does, and I'm glad that I said this stuff earlier, if the Inhumans go off planet, we could end up on the moon, which is where they move to.
Okay.
So, I mean, this is all, we know absolutely nothing other than the fact that there's a second Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right.
So this is just speculation.
Okay.
But it's where I think that they should go.
Okay. Well, fair enough.
Not to the moon.
Right. To the moon. All right. So, after Guardians of the Galaxy 2, again in 2017, we'll be getting Thor Ragnarok.
Which, you know what, would not be a bad place for the Guardians to go.
Okay.
Asgard is in space.
So, you have a lot to say about this, don't you?
Not a lot. There's a lot that I would like to see in this movie.
Okay.
They opened quite literally a lot of doors in the second movie. And one of them that we saw was a World of Fire.
Right.
One of my favorite Thor villains is Surtur. Mm-hmm. And he plays a role in Ragnarok in the mythologies, but not a ginormous role, surprisingly. And he's not a demon in the mythologies. He's just, he has a flaming sword.
Okay.
In the mythologies, Ragnarok is the fall of the Nordic gods, started by the death of Balder.
Okay.
Son of mine, are you dying?
Sorry, Appa is coughing up a lung behind us.
Over there. So, I would like to finally see Balder.
Right.
I saw Balder in Supernatural. I have not seen him in this. And that upsets me because the funeral of his mother was in the second movie. So even just a cameo of a pat on the back, Boulder, our thoughts are with you, something.
Right.
I would like to see that.
Okay.
It's already been confirmed that Loki and Heimdall will play a part in the second Avengers movie.
Right.
And that Loki will return for this movie.
Well, if we saw the end of the events of Thor: The Dark World, we kind of already assumed that.
Right.
But, right.
Well, and that would... So, in the mythos, when Balder is born, Balder is the firstborn of Odin and Freyja, I think. I can never keep track of whose mother is who. Freyja went to all of the existing beings on the planet and made them kind of promise that they wouldn't harm Balder. Right. So Balder was indestructible. There was one thing she didn't go to because it was a new being, and so she didn't think it posed a threat, and that was mistletoe. So as an adult, there would be almost like a game where people would shoot arrows at Balder's chest, and they would just break. Nothing would happen. Nothing could hurt him. Until they tricked Thor and Balder's other brother, whose name I can't remember, into shooting him with mistletoe, and it killed him. And that's what starts Ragnarok. Other things that I would love to see in this movie from the mythos would be Loki's kids, Fenrir, Jormungandr. I could say this 3 hours ago. The Midgard serpent.
Okay.
The two-headed wolf, the eight-legged horse, Sleipnir.
Okay.
To see
you're throwing out names. I'm sorry. I love mythos and stuff like that. I know very little about the Nordic ones. So
I did a lot of research today just for random other things that I'm glad that I did because of this.
Okay.
But Loki has 3 kids. A two-headed wolf named Fenrir, the Midgard serpent, whose name I could pronounce three hours ago, and then Sleipnir, which is an 8-legged horse that Odin rides.
Okay.
So Odin rides his nephew, which is kind of weird. And unlike Zeus, who generally stays male when he turns into animals, Loki mothered that horse. So that was a little different. He turned into a mare and seduced a stallion of an architect that they wanted to kill.
Okay, Loki.
I mean, whatever. Like, sometimes I like to be on that side too, but
wow,
whatever.
All right.
So anyway, there's a lot that I would like to see in this movie. There's a
lot they can dive into apparently. Yeah.
I mean, not necessarily the anthropomorphic sex.
No, not that. But not that.
Not that. Wrong movie.
No.
Wrong movie. No donkey show.
The quote in Clerks too.
Yeah.
I'm disgusted. I'm repulsed, but I can't look away.
This movie is rated NC-17.
Oh God. The first...
Donkey show.
Thor donkey show.
Thor Ragnarok donkey show.
God.
I mean, there's a lot of great things they can do with this, and don't fuck it up, kinda.
Don't fuck the donkey.
Don't fuck the donkey. Or get fucked by the donkey if you're Loki.
That's what we're gonna say to Marvel Studios. Hey guys, as far as Phase 3, don't fuck the donkey.
Don't fuck the donkey. No Sleipnir.
So, after Thor Ragnarok, in late 2017, we'll be getting Black Panther.
Finally.
Now, here's the thing. I'm going to tell you right now, I know very little about Black Panther.
Hey, dude, that's why I'm covering
I know
Marvel.
he grew up in Wakanda. Mm-hmm. I know he wears a black suit, and that's about it.
All right.
You can tell me whatever you want about Black Panther, and I'll probably believe you, because I do not know anything about this guy's origins.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
All right, so the previous Black Panther, the Black Panther is the role of the king of Wakanda.
Okay.
It's his, protector role.
Okay.
So the Black Panther that they're going to use, I'm pretty sure, is T'Challa, which is the one that we've known. He's the one who married Storm. He's the one who is the current Black Panther. His father is T'Chaka, who was killed by M'Baku. Okay. I swear I'm not making these names up.
Okay.
Who is the white ape. He's a big black dude, but he wears a white ape suit.
Okay.
And he's from the ape tribe.
Okay.
And this is the Panther tribe.
Okay.
So Wakanda, kind of like Asgard, has separated itself, has very advanced technology.
Okay.
Out in the middle of Africa.
Okay.
This is where vibranium comes from on Earth.
Right.
So that, I think, will probably be the focal point. So Chadwick Bosworth, who's playing T'Challa, has signed on for 5 movies already. To start with is Civil War. I don't know what the other 3 are, but obviously one is this. Actually, 2 of those are probably the Avengers 3 movies. So then there's one other movie that we wouldn't necessarily know.
Okay.
Unless maybe it's Age of Ultron in the after credits.
Right.
It looks like Andy Serkis, because of the way he's designed, is going to play Ulysses Klaue,
Right, and you told me
who
about
is a
this.
scientist obsessed with vibranium.
Right.
Which will probably take him to the Black Panther movie, which I would like.
Right.
Excuse me. I would also like to see M'Baku, who is, like I said, he's maybe it's just the man ape. I think it's just the man ape. I don't think it's a white ape, but he wears a white gorilla hide. So to kind of delve into that Black Panther mythos, there was even a rumor, a very short-lived rumor, that Aurora Monroe would be featured in this. But that was quickly struck down because it was theorized that they could do that because they did the same thing with Quicksilver. She's existed in other books, but then they would have to explain her.
Right.
And they didn't want to do that. So there are, like Thor, there are a lot of things that they could do with this. But, I mean, the easiest thing is just really to do... did you ever see Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes cartoon?
A couple times, yeah.
Basically, just do the intro story for Ant-Man, where they're in Wakanda, and Ulysses Klaue goes crazy Vibranium Man, and they have to shut him down.
Okay. All right, sure. All right, I'm with you now. All right.
And they could even bring, you know what, and if they're doing that, they could bring Paul Rudd into that movie.
Yeah, they could. They could.
I mean, if they're going to start doing these crossovers, there's no reason why these characters can't visit.
Right, this is true. All right, so moving on from Black Panther, we got, of course, the big one, the first big one in Phase 3, which is Avengers Infinity War, Part 1.
Yep. So
and that's May of 2018.
And this is where Thanos comes to Earth.
Right.
Theorized.
So, now, I mean, we've seen the teaser for Phase 3.
Right.
Where they show him with the Infinity Gauntlet.
Right.
And every geek on the planet said, oh my God, I need to change my pants.
I mean, so it happens in 2 parts. So I really, like, there's so many things that, for all of these things, there's so many things that could happen. But for this one especially, on the one hand, this story is Thanos comes to Earth, doesn't have the entire gauntlet, is missing one part maybe.
Right.
And the Avengers lay him out. And he has to run and hide.
Really?
At one theory. One possibility.
Okay.
And he has to run and hide and gets the final part. Another part is that he has one last general to send in to try to get what he needs. And the Avengers either get spanked or lay them out, but he still gets what he needs.
Okay.
And then the one that I actually think will probably happen is... My one theory is, in the terms of generals, is that they might bring in Kang the Conqueror.
Okay, I think I know him.
Time-traveling warlord, Nathaniel Richards in the future.
Okay.
Basically, if you're evil with the potential of great good or good with the potential of great evil, your name's Nathan. And that's just one idea. I have no reason to suspect that they would do that. But it's just an idea to bring in one final general. But what I actually think they'll probably do is that Thanos will come to Earth and conquer.
Right.
And that the Avengers will lose.
Right. Now, one thing I have to bring up, and I think we actually had a question related to this, and we'll get to those in a little while, because, as I mentioned before, you guys did submit a good amount of questions, and thank you all who submitted questions. There were some really good questions this time around.
I just want to point out that was my idea.
It was.
So you motherfuckers are welcome.
But I could be wrong, and if this question does come up, we'll just address it now. It's been rumored that we will be getting a new series of Avengers for Infinity War.
By the time Infinity War comes up, we will have a new lineup.
Right.
Our big 3 that we have now will not be in that movie.
Right.
Will not play major roles.
Right. They won't be part of the Avengers. So who is it? Well, is it going to be Black Panther? Is it going to be Ant-Man?
I mean,
is it going to be Doctor Strange? Are they subbing in roles?
Well, Doctor Strange is a definite possibility. Ant-Man probably. But we've been introduced to other Avengers. Keep that in mind.
Right.
The big three that we have now are not necessarily the big three that we need then.
Right.
As far as Iron Man goes, we have Rhodey.
Right.
As far as Thor goes, we have other Asgardians.
Right.
We could have a stand-in for Thor. One, we don't necessarily need one. We've had Avengers teams without him.
Right.
Why not Loki? Why not Loki on the Avengers? He's been on the Young Avengers. He's not evil. He's a trickster god.
Right.
So why not? Why not Sif? Why not Balder if they don't kill him?
Right.
As far as Captain America goes, in Captain America alone, they introduced 2 other Captain Americas.
Yeah, they did.
Bucky, and then not long after that movie came out, it was
Falcon.
It was revealed that Falcon is now the Captain America,
right.
and he's currently batshit crazy in the comics. But there are other people that can take these roles.
Right.
There are other people that have had these roles, and these are roles. And this is one of the things that I bash on DC a lot for, is that the role of Captain America is a role that I find is acceptable as Steve Rogers isn't Captain America.
Okay.
Captain America is a mantle.
Right.
There needs to be a Captain America.
Right.
So if it's not Steve, you can't have just some random person in Stars and Stripes calling themselves something different.
Right.
And I think Batman's the same way. But I think the difference in Marvel and DC is that DC sets up a lot of characters to take on the roles. Like their Justice League is full of mantles instead of characters. There always needs to be somebody to fill that suit.
Right.
And in Marvel, we have enough characters that if somebody gets knocked off, we have other characters that can pick up the slack that don't have to take on that name. So by the time this happens, it's feasible that we could have an entirely new team.
Right.
We could have a different Iron character. We could have another God if we needed. We could have another Patriot. But then we have other characters. People bash on Ant-Man for so many different things, but Hank Pym is one of the smartest characters in our universe.
Right.
He doesn't always use that in the best conscience, but he's done some of the greatest stuff.
Right.
And he's not only a man that can shrink, he's a man that can grow.
Right.
And they've changed his character for this movie in that he shrinks and gets super strong.
Okay.
So I don't think he's like Spidey strong, but we saw in the test footage where he shrinks and knocks a guy out when he's less than an inch tall. And punches a guy in the face. Runs up the barrel of a gun, I mean, on top of it.
Yeah.
And fucking kicks this guy between his eyes. So, I mean, and he can grow. If they introduce Goliath, then we could potentially have a movie with Doctor Strange, Goliath, Ant-Man, the Falcon, Captain America, if they use Bucky as Captain America and not Sam.
Right.
War Machine or Iron Patriot, or a new Iron Man suit. We could still have a Hulk, so long as they don't kill him.
Right.
But I think that he signed on for like 8 movies.
Right.
So he's not going anywhere.
Right.
We might get a Wasp in Ant-Man. We don't know who Evangeline Lilly's character is really going to become.
Right.
So there's this endless amount of things that they can do. And then the next movie after the Infinity War, if you want to intro that real quick.
Which will be Captain Marvel, which is July 6, 2018.
So Captain Marvel, the one that they're using is not Marvel, the Kree, but Carol Danvers, Miss Marvel, Warbird, whatever you want to call her, where Rogue got her super strength and flight abilities from, who has on multiple occasions led the Avengers.
Right.
The best way to compare her origin would be, who's the Star Sapphire?
Carol Ferris.
She was a pilot.
Right.
She was a pilot. She was abducted by aliens. She was experimented on. And that's how she got her powers. The Kree gave her powers by accident. Which is why she was such an idol. Why she idolized Captain Marvel so much. He was a hero. He stood up to what they were doing because he didn't think that what the Kree were doing was correct. So, with my theory that the Avengers are going to get laid out, well, then they have Captain Marvel shows up. Earthbound Origin, Space Adventure is what they've said.
Right.
So, if that's the case, potentially pre-Infinity War origin, off planet during the war, And then, if you want to intro the next movie,
Okay. After
all of this
Captain
kind of
Marvel-
leads together, in my theory.
After Captain Marvel, we have, of course, the one that you are raving about, which is Inhumans in November 2018.
And my theory is that by this point, we will have already been introduced to the royal family, which there are, I think I counted 8 members. Maybe the Avengers will take solace in a Talon, but that the final movie will be, or the final Infinity War Part 2 will be the Avengers in whatever lineup they are, the Guardians in whatever lineup they at this point are, Captain Marvel, and the Inhumans royal family against Thanos, Cosmic Thanos, and his horde. So I'm thinking...
My thought is by Infinity War 2, they will bring back any of the members of the Avengers who weren't in Part 1.
Any that they can contract.
I think that well, my only thought is
they're going to CGI some people in the
right.
background.
Well, I mean, it's 1 year afterwards. But what I'm saying is, you're not going to have all these Avengers films. Bring in a whole new cast for just Part 1 and 2, and not have these other guys come back for that final ultimate battle.
What do you mean? What, like Phase 3?
I'm
Everybody
sorry,
from Phase 3?
Yeah.
I thought you meant... Well, yeah, no, they'll definitely come back.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to be murdered.
No. I'm not saying they're being murdered. But I'm saying we're talking about a new lineup for Infinity War Part 1. What I'm saying is by Part 2, we'll still have that new lineup, but anyone who wasn't in Part 1 will show up in Part 2. Anyone...
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It'll be the Avengers plus Carol Danvers.
Right.
And the royal family for the Inhumans. I think that it's possible, depending on what contracts they can get, that anybody who's still alive could join the fight in the final Infinity War battle.
Right.
I mean, if my theory that the first battle is going to be they get laid out and Thanos takes over, the second movie will be a call to arms. It will be S.H.I.E.L.D. and Inhumans and Guardians and anybody who has any connection to Earth or wants Thanos dead.
Right. And we bring it up, and obviously the last film that we've announced for Phase 3 is, yes, Avengers Infinity War Part 2, which is May of 2019. It seems so far away.
It does. My only fear of this movie is that if my theory is correct, the final fight for this movie is going to look at the final fight from Transformers 2.
Right.
There's going to be so much shit going on, you're not going to be able to see anything.
Right. But now, a lot of people had the same worries about the final fight in Avengers.
Yeah, but that was really 8 people.
Right.
And they did a decent job. But if you're looking at the royal family has 8 people. The Avengers theorized Strange, Ant-Man, somebody in Iron, probably a god. I mean, that's 4 right there.
The only thought is maybe at the very beginning of the battle, they kill off like 75% of the forces.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, now we don't have to worry about as many people.
I mean, hopefully we'll have Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., S.H.I.E.L.D. will have. I mean, it's being reconstructed. It will be built up by this point.
Right.
Adam Warlock, if he wasn't murdered, which he'll probably be killed in the first one. The Kree army, maybe? I don't know.
Right.
And any new fucking Nova Corps members that they've
Right.
So there's going to be so much going on in this final fight that they really need to be careful with this final movie.
They do. They really do. You have to think about so much as leading up until this point. I mean, you have a lot leading up to the Justice League, but they're only now establishing this continuity for Justice League, and it's only going to be maybe 6 or 7 films that lead to Justice League.
Right.
I mean, there's Justice League Part 1, and then there's going to be a few before Justice League Part 2. But it's only going to be so many. Think of all the films that are going to lead to Infinity War Part 2. I mean, think of all Phase 1 and Phase 2, and now everything we've listed in Phase 3. That everything culminates with that film. So much can go wrong.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
And so far, we have been under fantastic leadership.
We have, yeah.
But it can very easily turn into just a shitstorm. It can very easily be just a mess.
And the first litmus test is going to be in about 6 months with Age of Ultron. I mean, that's going to be the first test of saying, okay, it's getting bigger. How much bigger can we make it? Mm-hmm.
I mean, it'll be the team plus 3 members.
Right. And if that becomes a mess, which I don't think it will.
I don't think so.
But If that starts to get a little messy, that'll be the first thing. Okay, let's pull back the reins a little bit. Let's start questioning what we're doing here. Because I think that's another question we're going to have a little bit later on. Are these studios reaching a little too far? Are they getting a little too antsy with, what they want to do? These are all great ideas, all stuff we'd love to see. But are they just rushing it out there to, say, okay, we want to do this. Maybe we don't have the capability of doing it, though. It's worrisome. It's very worrisome.
With everything Phase 3, I think that we have, it looks like everything has a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we start off Phase 3 with what will intentionally remove Captain America and Iron Man from the movies.
Right.
And we'll probably set up Black Panther to be the new leader, honestly. We have Doctor Strange being brought in as a new big hitter.
All right.
We have Guardians of the Galaxy 2, which is going to probably bring them to Earth.
Right.
We have Thor, which will remove him from it.
Mm-hmm.
We have then the Black Panther story, which is going to give us some build-up on him. And then the Infinity War. I mean, that's our big three down. Natalia, Clint, if they have survived at this point. The twins, if they have survived. Vision, and then Doctor Strange, Black Panther, and Ant-Man. And maybe Goliath.
Right.
So, it's really good. Everything they're doing, I think that they sat down and they had a very good conversation with what are the things that we need to do, what do we want the end result to look like, and how do we get there?
Right.
And I think they've done a very good job of not having to do, all right, well, we're going to do this movie that's going to do all of this shit, and then this movie that's going to do all of this shit, and then this movie is going to... They're being very precise with what they're doing.
Yes, they are. And I'm going to mention this just in quick pass, where we have to finish this up soon because we've talked for a long time about this.
I know.
And we still have to cover the questions. And we're going to cover all your questions, don't worry. But I did want to say real quick, this isn't even taking into account the TV universe they're spinning, which is still in continuity with the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
I don't think that that's going to bring into the... If that does bring into the Infinity War, I think it's going to be in passing.
Probably. But just to mention a few that's been confirmed, they're still to be announced except for Daredevil, which has been confirmed for 2015.
Mm-hmm.
But we also have a.k.a. Jessica Jones, Luke Cage.
Excited.
Iron Fist, which I am a big fan of Iron Fist.
I like Iron Fist.
And the Defenders.
Yeah, those series are going to lead into the Defenders, which they're saying... I've always known Initially, I knew the Defenders as a crackpot team that couldn't make it on the Avengers.
Right.
But each member of the primary team, of the four founders, have been on the Avengers.
Right.
And are all, although I hate Namor, they're all heavy-hitting characters.
Mm-hmm.
This team of Defenders is rumored to be the street-level Avengers.
Right.
So, Matt, Luke, Iron Fist, and Jessica Jones.
Right. So, yeah, just wanted to mention that in passing. Those are all... Right now, it's looking like they're all going to be either Netflix or Amazon Prime.
No, all four of those are going to be Netflix.
Oh, they're all Netflix? That's confirmed? Okay.
They're Netflix series.
Okay.
Yeah.
There we go. Again, they're all to be announced. There's no dates yet, but they've all very much been confirmed at this point. We just don't know when they're coming out.
Yeah, Daredevil is the one that they're starting with.
That's next year. Yeah.
And that's next year. And they've got the cast going on. They've cast Kingpin, Matt, and... Rosario Dawson is playing a character who's a stand-in for the Night Nurse. That will be how he kind of goes into the superhero thing.
Okay.
They've revealed his suit. It's going to be an all-black suit.
I love the design of his suit.
Yeah, it's
I
very
love that
basic.
he doesn't have eye holes. That is... why didn't they do that before? I love that design choice.
Yeah, I don't understand why they didn't either, but there have been a couple versions of original suits where it was just a bandana wrapped around his head.
And that's perfect.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
There is question as to whether or not they're going to bring in a red suit by the end of the series. I hope that they do, because, I mean, this is Daredevil.
Right.
We do want to see the devil.
Right.
And maybe the Night Nurse will make it for him. So, that'd be cool.
So... That being said, we're going to get into your questions, guys. Now, there are, I believe, 8 or 9 to get through. We'll try and touch on each of them a little bit. The first one we are going to get to is from our buddy, Chicago John the Bear, who you know. And his question is, how do you feel about known superheroes switching gender or races or switching sexual orientation, do you think it adds to a story or wow, John, what are you saying here? Or the stare to get different demographics in theaters?
I think. All right, so there's a couple different things to look at with this.
Well, by the way, John, I'm sorry if I butchered your question. It's I don't know if it was just fuck you autocorrect. I'm not sure what you were saying here.
I understand the question, though.
Okay, yeah, I understand what you're saying here, but yeah.
As far as the cinematic universe, touching on, we'll use the race. In the cinematic universe, we have Johnny Storm being black.
Right.
I think that in the 60s, when these characters were created, some of these main characters, it wasn't even an idea that we could have a black superhero. So I don't think that they necessarily looking for a black Johnny Storm, but allowing one, I think, is good. It doesn't matter to me what nationality they are. I just want to see the character done justice.
Right.
It does annoy me that Sue's not black.
Right.
If you're going to be black, let them fucking both be black.
Right. Here, I'll say this, not to cut you off.
No, go for it.
I am all for, having what is classically white superheroes and superheroines becoming different ethnicities or races or sexes. I'm okay with that, only because it was so vanilla for such a long time because of not
society.
just society, yeah. But that being said, in recent years we have gotten plenty of really, really good superheroes and heroines of different races, of different sexual orientations, and go with that. I mean, we talk about Jon Stewart all the time.
Right.
Why the fuck can't we get a Jon Stewart movie?
Exactly.
I mean, and again, I'm not against Johnny Storm being black.
No.
Fine, go with it. That can work. That's great.
I like the idea.
Right. But why can't you do it with the black superheroes that already exist? And not just Storm, all right? Storm's been done to death.
Right.
I mean, there are so many others that can be done right. Now, we may get that with Black Panther finally.
I mean, really, Marvel Studios has kind of been doing, and I hate to use the term, token black characters. I mean, we had our Rhodey, we had Falcon. Yeah. We're gonna have a black sidekick in Ant-Man, who's probably gonna be Goliath. But we've been bringing in these different ethnicities.
Right.
I mean, we did have the all-white, Avengers.
Right.
The next Avengers team is not gonna be all white.
Right.
To touch on your other point, to like sexual orientation and gender swap, Thor being a woman now, well, it's his mother, so I'm kind of okay with that.
Oh, is that what it is?
I'm pretty sure it's his mom.
Oh, I haven't read it. I have no idea.
Yeah, he was all whiny and moany on the moon that he couldn't lift the hammer because he did something. I don't know what he did.
That he couldn't. Did you say lift or lick?
Lift.
It sounded like you said he couldn't lick the hammer.
I mean, he could probably lick the hammer if he wanted to.
I mean, is he trying to lick it like it's a battery because electric shock?
Maybe that's why it won't pick up for him anymore. It's like, stop licking me, Crumb. You're weird. And then finally, I'm pretty sure it's his mother went back and lifted the hammer.
Wow.
And was like, this needs to be put somewhere, and decided to be Thor.
Nice.
Sam Wilson as Captain America, I really like. Also, I really fucking like his suit. I'm not going to lie. I really like Project Runway. And I will absolutely 100% base whether or not I like you initially on whether or not I like your suit. I don't even care. In the Ultimate Universe, they made Colossus gay. It was to show... It wasn't to make a new gay character. It was to show that anything can happen in this universe and not have that be, we can kill off who the fuck we want.
Right. And to counteract that, in Earth 2 in DC, we had Alan Scott was gay. Now, that was done kind of badly.
Yes, I agree.
Because it was basically just done for the fact of, oh, look, we're going to make him gay and then kill off his significant other within like the first 2 minutes.
Fucking fiance.
Right.
Although, I did read a frame the other day that, whatever his husband's name was, his fiance's name was, is in the ring still.
Yes.
His essence is still the ring. He was talking to it and he called it by its name and he said, oh yeah, I used to go by that.
Right.
So that's kind of interesting.
Right. And I do like that
And isn't he dating the Flash?
I do not know. I haven't read anything past that.
But I don't like the Flash in that because he's got an ugly suit.
Right. Well, I will say the symbolism of him using his Green Lantern ring as his
fiance
as the engagement ring, that is beautiful symbolism.
Other way around.
What?
Other way around.
All the way around.
Other way around. His Green Lantern ring isn't used as his engagement ring. His engagement ring
right.
became the Green Lantern
I'm sorry.
ring.
Yes. His engagement ring is used as his Green Lantern ring.
Yeah.
And I think that's amazing symbolism. I only wish they didn't have to kill off the guy in order to achieve that.
Right.
But to answer your question, John, we don't have any problem with it. We just wish it was done better with people who were already of that race, of that sexual orientation, of that gender. I mean, if by race swapping, by gender swapping, you can do that, and it's fine. It can work great.
It can.
But if you already have great people of that race and of that sex who are already really well written, why not go with them already?
Yeah, I mean, give the people that we already have a chance.
Right, exactly.
But John, keep in mind that one of my favorite things in comics is alternate universes. So if you can take a story and tell it differently, then by all means, 100% do it.
Right.
So, next question.
Next question. We actually have a few questions from our buddy Rob Ford, who you may remember from our, what should I say? Well, the anniversary podcast when he asked a few questions.
I wasn't here for that, but I do remember that he came in.
Right. So, he has a few questions. First one being, if you're including Fox and Sony's plans, that includes nearly 30 superhero films for the next 6 years. With this oversaturation, will this put the genre into hibernation or possibly even kill it?
See, and I don't think that it will.
I agree that it is oversaturation. I agree that at this point, I don't think the product's going to get milked down, but I think some general fans are going to start getting sick of it.
I think that the general fans are going to stick with the stuff that's good. And that's all I can really say on that. I think that there's a lot coming out. As far as the Marvel Studios stuff, the points that I made about each movie having a purpose and not doing too many things in one movie to ruin it. As far as Fox has gone, they've made that mistake a few times. And they have tried twice now with a Wolverine movie that it doesn't work. And as far as Sony goes, they've made the same mistake with Spider-Man.
Right.
Just taking an iconic hero and somehow not doing that right.
Right.
I don't think that the saturation is going to kill our genre. No. I think that poor writing is going to hurt us, but the movies that stand out are going to help us and take away from that saturation.
Right. I mean, you have to consider the fact that for the longest time, and I'm saying this to Rob, think about back in the 70s and 80s and even the early 90s with the kinds of superhero films we were getting. There were some good ones, but we would get a superhero film every 5 or 6 years, tops. They were the oddities. We live in a time where superhero films have become so mainstream that we're getting 4 or 5 a year. This is a great time. I love that there's oversaturation.
And they're doing the ones that they're doing right. They're doing right.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, I understand your worries, Rob. I really do. I just think, enjoy this. That would be my response. It is oversaturation, but I don't think it's going to kill this. I think, the fans, the people who are into this stuff are just going to relish in this time. Mm-hmm. The next 5 years, if it goes right, are going to be a really good time for superhero fans.
I agree.
So, his next question, which we've kind of already addressed, but it's actually from him and a couple other people, which I'll acknowledge at the end. Which film has you the most excited? Which has the most potential? And which is the most likely to fail?
Well, so we said that the ones we were most excited about.
Right.
I'm super excited about Doctor Strange and Inhumans and Ragnarok.
Right.
You're most excited about Doctor Strange because you grew up with those tales.
And I would also say I'm most excited for Justice League and the reboot for Green Lantern, because it has the most potential to be something that I want. But hello. And the girl next door just came in. I shouldn't say the girl next door. I should say the goddess of gore. How you doing?
I think the one with the most potential to fail is the next Spider-Man movie.
I agree. Absolutely agree.
And whatever this Wolverine movie that's coming out is, because I just have zero faith in Wolverine movies at this point.
I actually got this question from both Rob and a couple of people on Podomatic. Does DC have a chance to dethrone Marvel?
I think that
I'm just gonna say no.
No. I think that if they do their plans right, they might be able to catch up. The Justice League is a really strong story.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, I'm a Marvel fan, diehard, and we'll defend against DC to the tooth. But DC is a strong company. They've had 30 extra years of writing than we have for our classic stuff.
Right.
So, I mean, they've got the years, they've got the writers, they've got the experience. If they do these movies right, they can absolutely catch up.
Right.
They can hold their own. I think that with Marvel getting the head start they did, I think that with Marvel just really riding that train and really doing these things right, I don't think DC is going to win.
Right. I just think that the fan base has been established so well with Marvel at this point, and they have such a head start that I don't see... I see DC catching up, but I never see them overtaking, ever.
No.
And that question was from both Rob and D.E. Fisher. So, thank you both. Our next one is, again, from Rob. Who should play Carol Danvers? I personally want Emily Blunt.
I've seen a couple people, and I don't know any of their names, so I'm not really good for that question. Preferably a white female with blonde hair.
But I like Emily Blunt. I think she's a fine actress.
I like Emily Blunt, too. There's a name that's popped up a couple times on Facebook. Katie Sackhoff.
Katie Sackhoff. I have no idea who that is.
That sounds funny when you say it.
That sounds like a bad porn name. Katie Sackhoff.
She was from Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, okay, yes, I know her.
And with photos like that, I can totally see that shit.
Right, I could see that.
Yeah.
All right.
So I'm gonna go with that one because I know that name.
All right. We had one question that was asked by a couple of people, but we pretty much covered it. Who do you expect to, be in the new team of Avengers after Age of Ultron? I think we already answered that, guys. Sorry.
Everybody I said plus Vision.
We also covered Jared Leto as the Joker. That was another question from Rob. So one final question that we have from Rob and one user who wanted to remain anonymous. Don't know why, but you can remain anonymous if you want. Out of all of the previous Marvel films, from being the top 3 studios, those being Fox, Sony, and Marvel Studios, which are your top 3 and your worst 3? And this, again, I know a common question we get, what's your top blank and your worst blank?
Yeah.
Rob says that his favorites were Days of Future Past, Winter Soldier, and Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay.
The worst 3 were Elektra, Blade Trinity, and Origins.
Okay. I mean, I guess my top 3 would be Guardians of the Galaxy. Actually, probably the same as Rob's. Winter Soldier, Guardians of the Galaxy, and Days of Future Past.
Okay.
I think they all had the strongest stories, and they did a really, really great job with what they did. My least favorite would be Elektra, Spider-Man 3, and both Ghost Rider movies.
For my top 3 for Marvel, I'm going to go Iron Man. I'll go, I'll say X-Men First Class. And I'll also say Guardians of the Galaxy. I had a lot of fun with that.
It was a solid movie.
Yeah. Least favorite, Elektra.
It's awful.
X-Men Origins, and Spider-Man 3.
You know what I really liked about
I'm sorry, what were your worst 3 again?
Elektra, the Ghost Rider movies, Spider-Man 3. That was it.
Yeah, okay.
What I thought was kind of funny about the X-Men Origins movies, and I say movies because Days of Future Past, First Class was supposed to be young Magneto.
Right.
It was supposed to be X-Men Origins.
X-Men Origins Magneto.
Young Magneto.
Right.
And because Wolverine did so poorly, they changed it.
Yeah.
And I remember doing our upcoming superhero movie reviews and being nervous about that movie.
Right.
We were like, this is not the right cast, but I mean, we can just only hope that they're going to do something better. And fuck if they did. Just astounding.
Right.
Well.
So I got a couple more questions. Actually,
okay.
we may. And then, you know what? I think we only had one more question. I apologize for that. The final question actually being from YouTube, and the Goddess of Gore is being harassed by Appa. Oh, Appa. You're being a bad boy. So.
Stop being a trouble.
Our final question from YouTube, a user just named Donners. That's all his name, Donners.
Sure, it's a donors?
Not donors, Donners.
He could be a sperm donors.
Donners.
He could be like one of that bank's best customers.
His question. Do you
give him
think
interest back.
we will see X-Men return to Marvel Studios or an Avengers/X-Men crossover in our lifetime?
And it's funny.
Now, when we say our lifetime, let's say the next 50 years.
50 years?
Yeah.
You want me to be 77 years old? I was like, wait, I'm 17? Hold on.
Wow.
We're really awful at math, guys.
You're not Karen. Stop it.
Yo.
Do we think we'll see it in our lifetime?
Yes.
God.
I think that it's possible. I think that once Fox gets its head out of its ass and stops making shitty movies.
Will 20th Century Fox ever stop being assholes is the question.
Okay, so no. But nothing Fox does is ever good in terms of like their news. So they're always going to be tool bags.
I'm about to say the X-Men films as of late have been good.
Yeah.
But their policy, right?
I mean, Fox's name is on it. But that's the writers. That's
not everything attached to 20th Century Fox has been good. They've done a lot of shit over the last few years.
Oh my god, like more than not.
Right. But the stuff they get right, they really get right.
Yeah.
It's almost like they just have a bunch of shit films just to get a really good screenwriter in for one film and then just milk the hell out of that one.
And especially, honest to God, Hugh Jackman's been doing had been doing a lot of work to try to get this done.
Right?
He was like, and selfishly, I just want to be in the Avengers. I was like, dude, I want you there. I don't give a shit.
Everyone does.
I don't even like Wolverine, and I want you on the Avengers.
And I'm going to say this. This is the only way I see this happening in our lifetime, to get these two together.
Hugh Jackman?
No, not even Hugh Jackman. Eventually, these actors are going to have to start leaving.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as we want Robert Downey Jr. to play Iron Man for the rest of his life, he's going to have to leave eventually. Same with Hugh Jackman. Same with a lot of these cast members. They're going to have to leave. When they start recasting, when they have to start not rebooting, but start retelling these tales with other actors, at that point, something's going to have to give. Mm-hmm. That might not be in 10 years. That might not even be in 20 years. But at a given point...
In 20 years, Hugh Jackman's going to be playing Old Man Logan.
I understand that.
And then they're going to bring in Old Man Hawkeye. That's going to be the first part. They're going to bring in Renner. Jeremy Renner to play Old Man Hawkeye.
So, my thought is this. Once that happens, once we get to that point where the studio looks at their product and says, we have to basically start over from scratch, where's the harm in having a crossover? Or where's the harm in reselling the rights to someone else? Now, again, the actual number has been tossed around several times on whether or not Disney was actually gave an offer to 20th Century Fox, or whether 20th Century Fox, requested it back or something like that, or requested that they get it bought out. And the number that was thrown around was $30 billion. Whether that was the actual number, we will never know.
Yeah, I still think Disney could afford that.
No, they could afford it, but that's just it. By buying it at $30 billion, you would essentially just be making a monster of your size. I mean, it would be like, God, I don't know. It'd be like trying to there's nothing to compare it to. Like trying to buy out an election by giving your opponent all of your money, and the next election they just beat you anyway because they have all your money.
Yeah, but Fox wouldn't know what to do with $30 million.
Without X-Men? Oh, God. And now that they don't have Star Wars either, God, what would Fox do?
Pacific Rim 23. It would be Atlantic Rim.
I think that's the...
but that was a funny joke, dude. He gave me a really dirty look for that.
I think Atlantic Rim was actually the Asylum spoof. You know what I mean by the Asylum spoof?
Is that the porn spoof?
No, not the porn spoof.
Oh.
Whenever a big motion picture is released, there's an Asylum film released right next to it. Like when you had Transformers, Asylum released Transmorphers.
Huh.
When you had Pacific Rim, I believe Asylum released Atlantic Rim. what they do is they go online to like Amazon and like, you know, like dollar stores and stuff like that and get their movies on the racks, which were made for dirt cheap with terrible effects. But elderly people who have no idea what the movie is actually called and go out and look for stuff to buy their kids, look at it and say, oh, Atlantic Rim, that's what Johnny wants, and just pick it up and buy it, not knowing that they're buying something wrong. There's an entire movie studio banking off of that. And they're making money doing it.
Kim, did you hear what he's going to sound like when he's an old lady?
I missed it.
Do your old lady voice again?
Oh, Johnny, I'll pick up Atlantic Rim for him.
Oh, man.
That is about it for the night.
I think so, dude.
We have been recording a long time.
Yeah, we knew this was going to go long.
It was going to be a long one.
In my defense, it wouldn't have gone as long if you hadn't wasted so much fucking time on DC.
We had to talk about it.
No, we didn't.
Yes, we did.
This was a Phase 3 podcast.
No, this was a superhero preview
This
podcast.
was sold to me as a lie.
No, I said it was a superhero preview podcast,
I
not
said-
a Marvel preview podcast.
I said we should do a podcast on Phase 3. And you
No.
said, I think that's a great idea.
No. No. I said, hey, do you remember what we did a few years back when we previewed all the superhero films?
You stupid lying son of a bitch. I said that.
No, I said that.
This is going to be us when we're old. You don't even remember what you had for breakfast. I had eggs. You can't even eat eggs because they make you gassy.
I hate eggs.
Everything makes me gassy.
So I want to thank the Superhuman Aficionado for coming by.
Yeah, buddy.
I want to thank Appa for coming by and for...
Actually, it was pretty quiet.
he was pretty quiet most of the time when he wasn't jumping on us or licking us.
He was wrestling with Mike mid-podcast.
And I want to thank the Goddess of Gore for stopping by in the late hours of the... let's say hours. The late minutes of the podcast,
All
I should
rude
say.
and shit, just like, fuck, I live here.
That's what I do.
We were like, no, you don't, bitch. You live
And
next
I,
door.
once again, am the Projectionist. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Have a good night and take care.